How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into a very special episode of NAISB. It's our World Series coaches episode. We're going to hear from coaches and players throughout today's episode. We start off with the number one overall national seed and the number one seed in Columbus, Georgia, the Madonna Crusaders. Head coach Ron Pizzoni. How we doing, brother?
Doing great. Getting ready for another long road trip.
Yeah, I know y'all are leaving at midnight. Just let them sleep all the way through. They'll kind of tire themselves out, and then by like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they're out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Coach, knew coming into the year, we were super high on your program. Y'all live up to expectations throughout the regular season. Talk about your team's performance this regular season. How proud of them you are to be in the position they're in.
Well, I'm super proud of this group. We just have a bunch of kids that just are workers and they want to be great. They show up early, they stay late. Um, we had a pretty big injury in our spring trip, and no one really batted an eye. It's like wasn't even really talked about. It's like we're just going to handle business, and even not hosting the regional was or the opening round. We really didn't even talk about it as a team. They're just like, okay, so we got to go to Missouri, take care of business. So super proud of the group and the workmanlike effort they do every day.
Y'all play with such a calm demeanor. It's always great getting to see your squad compete. Got to see you in Space Coast. It's like no matter what happens, it's just okay, next pitch, okay, no, next pitch. And I know that's some coach speak in there, but it truly is the mentality that I see with Madonna softball. No matter what happens, whatever doesn't go your way, we're fine, whatever. We just talked about it. We wrapped up our World Series preview episode, and y'all went from a single digit loss team to me to a team that probably lose somewhere between 9, 10, 11 games throughout the regular season when Avery Wolverton did go down with injury. Did not skip a beat. It's so impressive. And I mean, names to obviously speak up for Camille Oyer. I mean, she was phenomenal last year, takes a step up this year. Then a couple of freshmen. Coach, your pitching staff has been great for you. Can you speak on what you're going to need to see from them to make a run at the Red Banner?
Well, yeah, they've been amazing. Camille just stepped up. They do what they do good, and they have a pretty good defense behind them, so they're not afraid to throw a strike. Um, and yeah, when Avery went down, it got some innings for Sarah Austin, for Badigan, for Lacey Harris, and they all just performed exceptionally.
Coach, looking at your lineup, there are a lot of players. Faith Crampton, Ashley Rosewich, who's having a first team All American, no doubt, kind of year. Bryn Anto, we could talk more about what they've done this year, but how valuable is it for them, that group that went to Columbus as freshmen, young players in 24? What do you think they're carrying with them and kind of telling the rest of the team right now to what to expect when they step foot in South Commons Complex?
Yeah, I think we got five that have been there that were there as freshmen, and they played well as freshmen down there. So I do think the experience factor is going to be huge for that group, and just for them to be able to kind of let the other ones know, hey, this is how it works. This is what we're going to do. This is how everything happens down there. And like you said, it's softball is a tough game, and it's you want to play, you want to be intense, but there's a fine line. You got to be great. You got to play relaxed too, right? And we want to try to get them where they're not caught up in the moment and just play their game. And if we play our game, we're going to have a good chance against anybody, I think.
Coach, for the number one overall national seed, you had a tough opening round. I mean, IU Southeast team that was red hot after winning the River States, Midland that swept the GPAC, Central Methodist won the Heart of America tournament. Playing those three opponents and playing three, competitive games with them, especially that 1-0 Central Methodist team, when that kind of lineup being able to blank them is incredibly impressive. How did those three games really test your squad and prepare y'all for Columbus?
Well, it's always good, especially when they're over to win tight games. They're tough while you're playing them, but the big thing we try to get across to these kids is we're not as much worried about the other opponents as more than what we do. we know if we do what we do well, that things usually work out all right. And so it doesn't really matter. It's like it doesn't matter if we're playing, a not good team or if we're playing Central Methodist or Midland. We try to take the same approach to everybody.
Oh, Coach, have you looked ahead at all? You're facing a Crossroads team that you have some experience with in that 8-9 matchup. Maybe not so much who you're expecting to play, but Marion, you've played Indiana Wesley, and you know them. What's going to be the key in that 8-9 matchup?
Well, everybody, for the most part, everybody coming in this thing's hot, right? So um, you gotta play your best. We played Wesleyan early in the year. Um, Actually, Avery threw that game, so and she did well. But we'll have a pitcher they haven't seen, and the funny thing is, as close as Marion is, I've really never seen them much up close. So we'll do a little studying on those guys and see who's hot and what's going on. And like I said, the main thing we focus on is let's worry about ourselves.
100%. What this way to go about it, Coach? Will you have any slightly different approach? I know. I mean, hey, your first trip a couple years ago, second trip. I'm sure there's some things you're gonna hold a little bit closer to your chest, but just difference in playing in one of the first games there on Thursday versus you're gonna sit around. You and Southeastern get to kind of sit around on Thursday and watch four really good ball games. Is there anything different, kind of how you approach the week with starting Friday instead of starting Thursday? Because we've seen in years past 1 and 2 seeds getting punched in the mouth early on seems to be a common theme in Columbus.
Yeah, so we do have some optional hitting on Tuesday night when we get in town. We'll have practice Wednesday, and then Thursday morning before the 8-9 game, we're going to practice and then go over and watch that game. And we'll get some live work into. And yeah, I agree with you. It's always scariest part of these tournaments is always to me the first game because you don't know how you're going to come out after not playing for 8 or 9 days.
Yeah, and the other team they get at least 7 innings. So I mean, maybe five, but most likely at least 7 innings the day before to get ready and prep. You see live action, see a different color jersey, that kind of thing. But yeah, Coach, you got either Marion or Indiana Wesleyan going to be a fun one. Y'all are going to be under the lights too. A little Friday night softball. I know you're fired up for it, Coach. Safe travels, making the way down to South Commons Complex, and look forward to seeing you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up on our World Series interview episode, we've got the head coach of the Southeastern Fire, Coach Kayla Watkins, and senior third baseman Lauren Seckinger. Lauren, I got to start with you because honestly, you make me feel old. Year one of NAISP was your freshman year. I'm like, dang, that freshman's pretty good. And now it's your senior year heading to Columbus. Pretty exciting, but I'm starting to realize starting to do this for quite a few years now.
Yep, I feel old also. So,
I bet, especially after this season, Coach. You coming into the year, we said I remember way back when we did our Sun Conference Media Day. Very tough preseason schedule. The Sun Conference turns into the conference it was this year. How's playing this very difficult schedule prepared you for the postseason this year?
I think the biggest thing is it means that like when we reference our abilities and capabilities and what we can do, there's evidence to it, right? So we're not just saying we can, like we're looking back at opportunities where we did. I think for this team in particular, I think confidence is a really important piece. I think that's something that when they can lean into that component of their game, they're able to really elevate their production. And so I don't even know that we always as a team collectively reference things in our schedule, but I know that they as individual players do. I know they remember big moments where they were able to kind of meet the mark. And so I just think the experience of knowing that. And then I think as we start looking towards this week and the other 9 teams, a couple of them we've played already. And I just think it gives us the awareness that like we're able to stand up and go toe to toe with anybody we see this week.
Absolutely. Lauren, as a senior leader on the Southeastern Fire team this year, someone that started a lot of games over at the Hot Corner, how have you seen this team evolve, especially having to dig deep in that Lakeland opening round spot where you had to win three straight games back against? Well, how have you seen some of the younger players evolve over the season?
I think our team has evolved greatly. I think one of the main times in our schedule that we talk about is the Gulf Shores tournament. And I think after we went 5-0 undefeated and playing really good teams in Gulf Shores, I think that's when we realized we had something really special. And I think from there, like we kind of all just locked in. We started playing for each other. We started putting trust in each other, and then we started playing confidently. And then, like specifically in that Lakeland Regional, I think after we lost our first game, we knew like the consequences, it was do or die. And I think we really flipped the switch and we knew what needed to be done.
No, I 100% agree with that Gulf Shores reference because after that Gulf Shores deal, that's when I started kind of walking with my Sun Conference swagger a little bit more. I started to get excited for the season, and we're definitely going to talk more about Sun Conference play later on. But Coach, I've said since the beginning of the season, your pitching staff's been a big reason for y'all's success and the ability, just three different arms doing things very differently. Zelenka, Playa, Vickers have formed one of the better staffs in NAIA softball this year. When did you know you had the chance to have a really special pitching rotation this season?
I mean, I think always the month of February as a coach, like I'm using game, we play a lot in February and there's a lot of reasons for that. You get kids a lot of at bats, they can make adjustments, but the other piece is pitching. Like, can we use our arms in different ways at different times to just kind of see where we're going to be? I think we got to do that in February. And then I think what it meant is we rolled into Gulf Shores and in our first probably two conference series and we were able to really use all three and I think as a coach I began to kind of recognize in those moments that we were going to be able to do that. I think for maybe anybody paying close attention, Emma was able to throw game three for us against St. Thomas in a series that at that point we were 1-1 in the series. And I felt really confident in that decision. So to be able to give her the ball there and say, hey, like we trust that you can go win us the series. And she did that. And so I think I think maybe at that point outsiders started paying attention, right? And going, okay, they've got something here. And then we were able to continue to do that the remainder of the season, throw out three different arms in the three-game series. So I would say late February, early March. After having used them all in February, we were able to see what we could do with it. The interesting thing about pitching to me is um, you can be great and you still have to be ready to be flexible. And I think that's been something we've been able to do the last couple of weeks. The neat thing about the three arms has been we've been able to kind of play the matchup game a little bit, and that's been kind of cool. Which ones tendencies match up better against this offense. And so that's been really fun. But all three are different. They do different things well. It's just been fun to put that together for sure. So
Yeah, I had just seen like on stats up to at St. Thomas, which was a massive series at the time and was for the 2026 season. And I'd seen Emma on stats a little bit, but I'd not seen her pitch, especially in that level of a game yet. And I walked away from that series. I remember just immediately before I even got on 60 heading back home, I gave Carly a call. I was like, they got a third. That's going to be a problem this
yeah.
year. Lauren, you're very familiar with competing in the opening round. You did it your first 3 years with the Southeastern Fire. What did it mean to you and other seniors on the team to finally break through and punch your ticket into Columbus?
I think it means everything. Like we've put the work in all 4 years. It's just exciting to have a different outcome this year. All 3 years we've had our season ended in the opening round. So it's just very exciting to be competing with the best of best. And it means even more getting to end our softball career with going to the World Series.
Coach, coming into this year, obviously, I was really excited for the entire athletics year, getting to work officially with the Sun Conference, and coming into the softball season, I was like, I really feel like this is the year before the year for a lot of programs in the Sun Conference. I'm still really excited for 2027, but 2026 was the best season of Sun Conference softball as a whole. I know obviously 22 had two teams punch their ticket, but man, it was just really high quality softball. Do you believe this was a breakthrough year for the Sun Conference to start getting more national attention and respect?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think ultimately, like there were four of us probably that had really good preseasons. Talking the month of February, early March. I think of those four, we had really good numbers, right? Schedules were good. That was probably a key difference. Not only like was our winning percentage good, but we'd gone out and played quality opponents, right? And so I do think I think this is the first year that it's felt like that had credibility, if you will. Like we weren't having to like prove that because it was in the numbers. It was in the schedule we played and the outcomes of the schedule. So I do think it was a big year. I think that went a long way in our opportunity to go host an opening round and then have the opportunity to win an opening round. It's like all the pieces really do matter. And so I think that's pretty exciting. Just like you said, as we look ahead to 2027. But I think we've got a lot of coaches in our conference that have worked really hard to get there, right? They're asking the questions, they're looking at their teams, going year to year, what's got to be different in order for us to be relevant and have attention. And so I think that's a nod to the coaches in our conference too, just putting in the work and the effort to get attention for our conference on the national stage.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Mike Minnick obviously built Coastal Georgia into a regular in the opening round. JC down at St. Thomas, they've made it, what, 3 or 4 straight times into an opening round. John Pryor, Kaiser, obviously lived around the top 10 for the majority of the year. And now you have Corbin Weeks, a Southeastern grad at New College of Florida, who's, I think, had a really strong first year. Coach, you had a complete roster turnover, of course, since the 2022 World Series. How has Southeastern Fire softball and you as a coach evolved since the last time y'all were in Columbus in 22?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like every team is different, right? And I think as a coach, you try to figure out what are things that really are important in building the team that can go out and compete and do it the right way and do it well. I've said this a lot to people since that 2022 squad. One of the things I learned that year is how much impact it would have on our team as a whole to be able to just like laugh and enjoy the opportunities, right? And it's been cool to watch this year's team do that because a lot of that began in 2022 actually originated in that freshman class in 2022, and they graduated last year. And so you've seen this team, I think they still believe that being able to like lighten things up and play loose is important, but they have adopted that to themselves, right? It doesn't look the same that it looked last year or the year before. And so I think that's part of it, just like understanding that every team has its own identity. I think just like for myself, evolving as a coach, I think one thing that's really different that I would have to mention is that in 2022, we were nowhere near fully staffed. We still were operating with a part-time assistant and a GA. And since that time, we've been able to position ourselves to where we now have a full-time assistant and GA. And we even talked about the work that Madison Williams and Jordan Moore have done with this team this year. That's just such a big deal. And so again, talking about evolving as coaching, just with those pieces staffing wise, it's afforded me the opportunity to like let them do that stuff, right? And step back and maybe I spend more time scouting or prepping, that kind of thing. And so that's probably something that's been a little bit different. But I think the biggest thing is in that 2022 season, I really did learn we have to pay attention to our team, and what are their needs. This team does play well when they're loose, but they also do like need to have this measure of like um, expectancy for themselves, and like they need a little bit of structure to go get after it, because a lot of them, they're just like little worker bees, right? So they need to be given the task to go be worker bees, right? And then given the freedom to be loose after that, right? So just understanding that you just got to know your team, you got to know what their needs are. And I don't always get that right, but that is a really important component, I think.
You mentioned Madison Williams there, Lauren. How valuable is it for someone that's about to play on the biggest stage of NAIA softball for the first time, even though you're a senior, to have Madison, who did play on that stage? It probably also helps you. You have a cousin who did pretty good in Columbus as well. But having that experience there on the pitching, the coaching staff, how valuable has that been as a player?
Coach Matt has been firing us up about it. I mean, at opening round, she was like, y'all are going to have so much fun. Like, I want this so bad for y'all. And then, like, my cousin Claire, she actually found her World Series tag like before our game, and she was like, this is a sign, like, y'all are going to make it. So I think like they're just so excited for us. They've been hyping it up, firing us up. I think that's like really big. It gives us the confidence to go out and play like as freely as we want. But with the experience, I think we're ready. I think, yeah, it's just she's been helping us out a lot.
Well, Lauren, y'all's dugout is absolutely electric with the animal heads and cheese heads and flame heads or anything. This is a two-part question. One, I would say a big reason why you won your game against Faulkner, the last game against Faulkner. Parents were rocking some good headgear before the game too. Could we see that happen again from the Fire Faithful in Columbus?
I sure hope so. I told them, I said, our parents better be loud. And I look back and I see all the moms with anything they could wear. I truly believe that that made us so excited for that game. I think our parents are just they want us to win so bad. They're behind us all the way. And I think that really just fired us up.
It was cool to see that. Something like I don't know if I've said this to our girls that much, but just other people. One of the things I distinctly remember about the 2022 season and the World Series was the presence of our fans. Like they were unreal. And
Yes.
so really cool to see that in the opening round. Because I remember believing that our fans at the World Series were such an integral part of how we performed. So it was really neat to see that. I think it does make a big difference to our girls.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I remember my first ever game at the World Series, Weber Southeastern. I was like, these fans, this is awesome. This is alive. I don't know if we'll have anything quite that intense, but it will certainly be a lot of fun. Lauren, but again, going back to y'all's dugouts, the headgear has been something I've seen for 5 years now with Southeastern softball, but y'all kind of taken it to the next level with the bald eagle, the horse, everything. Where did that come from? And then just who are some leaders that are kind of the main points to just keeping that energy high in your dugout?
Yep, our props have definitely evolved all my 4 years. As soon as I was a freshman, we had our first game, I was given a wig to wear in the dugout. Like this has never happened to me before, but I'll wear it. But it has definitely evolved. I think last year Eden got the horse head, and then we bring in players like Ava that just buy into our culture, and she got the monkey, and then Abby has the bald eagle. And truly our dug or the way we play, we just feed off of our dugout. Whenever we're the loudest, we play the best. And that's how it's been since ever I've been here.
Lauren, what's been the message amongst the team? Has it changed much heading into Columbus, or has there been a general message within the group to just keep y'all going and finish this season off strong in Columbus?
I think we've just been looking back at since the fall, since preseason, we've put in the work, we've worked so hard. I think going back and remembering how hard we've worked is for times like this. And pressure is a privilege in this scenario. I was just talking about coach, like there are 10 teams left and we are one of those 10. So that's pretty amazing. And then I think just playing freely. We do play the best when we play freely. So I think just having fun going into the World Series, knowing that you're playing the best of the best, it's going to be good ball games, but also playing confidently. I think that's just been the message to our team.
Absolutely. We all have been very fun to cover with Sun Conference action this year. Excited to see y'all compete and battle for the Red Banner in Columbus, Georgia. Coach Kayla Watkins, third baseman for the Fire, Lauren Seconder. Appreciate you for your time. Safe travels to Georgia and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reagan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up on our World Series coaches interview episode, we've got the head coach of the defending champion, Southern Oregon, Coach Jessica Pistole. Coach, how we doing up at Ashland, Oregon?
Doing good. Yeah, just getting ready for our last practice before we leave and trying to get everything packed, and we're excited to head out.
The fun stuff heading back to Columbus, Georgia. This time of the year, a lot of coaches looking to do their first. You included. You're looking to do your first. You have won four national championships. Still have not won one on an even year. Is that something on your resume that kind of bugs you a little bit at all?
I mean, yeah, it's not lost on us. We know that.
Chance to go back to back. Coach, we were just talking about it. Cascade once again very well represented in Columbus. One team coming back, one team for the first time joining the fray at the World Series. Both teams I have not seen in Columbus yet, with British Columbia and College of Idaho. Coach, let's start with the Cascade. I feel like I've asked you this question many times before, but how does playing in the Cascade prepare you for postseason softball?
You just said it. It prepares us for playing postseason softball. You don't have a weekend off ever, and I think the key of, playing in the conference that we do is obviously, there's all sorts of great teams and we play these 4 game series. So it's different than like one game at a time. And I think that you have to have depth. You have to be able to show, different pitching, things like that to be able to win multiple games against good teams. But I think at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it's just good softball, and you can't take any weekend for granted. You can't take your losses too hard either, because it's like no matter what, like everybody matches up differently, and we all give each other everything we got. So I'm not surprised that there's, multiple teams from our conference here. And I'm honestly not surprised that it's these guys, and because they do what all these teams do. It's like you just show up and you have a chance to compete. And I don't know. I appreciate being in our conference, and I do feel like it prepares us, because we've taken hits already. And I think that's the piece of it. You got to figure out how to not let those lows be too low.
Something this time of the year you see it happens. Young players, whether it be freshmen or sophomores, really start stepping up and get comfortable playing. We saw it last year with Ayla, obviously at the World Series, and before the great year that she had her freshman year. A redshirt freshman this year that's really come on strong at the end of the regular season and the postseason for you is Kalia Thomas. Can you talk a little bit about her and maybe some other players that you've seen really develop well and they're starting to play their best ball at this most crucial time of the year?
I mean, Kalia, she's special. Like, honestly, even though she didn't compete in our season last year, she was coming off of surgery and just in a different place. And I mean, she'd practice with us all year last year, and it'd be like, man, like she's so dangerous. And so it was starting to build and grow last year. And so her coming in, and, I think just she hadn't played in games for about 2 years. And so I think it just took a little bit of time for her to not adjust to pitching, not adjust to like the game, but I think find the right mindset where she plays best. And I think that, that's a big part of it for a lot of players. It's a big part of it for a team, is just trying to find that gear where you can just play free. And I think she's tapped into that, where she's not overthinking things and she's just letting herself compete. And when she's competing, she gives us a chance every time. She's so fun to coach and so fun to, have in our lineup this year.
Coach, y'all kind of went against the normal path of winning a national championship last year. It's important to win that first game. I would say kind of last year, a little bit of an anomaly, y'all rattling off 7 straight elimination game wins. You look at your first game against the Cumberlands Patriots. They were a 3 seed. Obviously, it's a team that program that's been there before. Now with Bruce Lennington at the helm, it's not exactly drop off in coaching experience. Just looking ahead at that 3-6 matchup, it's the game I'm probably most excited for. 4 o'clock, going to be epic. Must watch softball. The only this is my fifth World Series, fourth with NAISB. With NAISB, I've either seen you or Bruce Lennington bring the red banner home. Have you looked much into that matchup? Just what are you expecting to see against Cumberland's day one in Columbus?
I mean, yeah, every game is the biggest game in my mind. I mean, he's a great coach. They're a great program. Like it again, anything leading up to this point doesn't doesn't matter. I mean, when you punch a ticket to Georgia, and there's 10 teams, like it's anything can happen because everybody, has earned their way there. And it's the funny part about this game. So yeah, I mean, we're really excited, to compete against Cumberland's on Thursday and they're solid and they're well coached. They're experienced in terms of being at the World Series. So yeah, I mean, we're excited. I don't know what else you want me to.
No, you're good. I'm excited. I'm excited too. This time of the year, I get excited and I get a little sad. I'm like, hey, at best we get 19 of
Yeah,
these things left, so let's make
yeah,
them as good as
totally.
possible. Coach, at your regional or your opening round site this year, you had Dordt, Texarkana were the two teams that you faced. Two coaches I respect a lot. Got to meet Coach Jeff with Dordt down in Florida this year. I'm a fan of how he ran his program. How did those opening round games this year? Kick your program into that next gear because conference tournaments are one thing, and it was I'm sure great for you winning the conference tournament this year. But how do getting 3 quality wins against quality opponents really help kind of set the tone for your program before Columbus?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would go back to the conference tournament because I think we found a gear that we had been fighting for, the whole season to just find that balance of loose and free and like what it will take for this team to be at our best. And we saw glimpses as we went, but I think the conference tournament is where that like we felt that in a way that we had not felt that before. And I think that that just continued into opening round. And so, which I am just super proud of our team for just finding that balance between playing loose and recognizing like this is the first time that your season actually is on the line. You can talk about playing with nothing to lose. Um, and I think that's the secret, right? If you can get to that place, then you're going to give yourself a chance. But I think for us, like in knowing what our big goal was and like knowing that we were fighting to get back to Georgia, I mean, it is the first time where you actually do kind of have something to lose. Like if it for us, it felt that way, right? I think for, you know, it, yeah, I don't know. So I think to be able to find that balance felt really, I'm just really proud of him because it wasn't like moments were too big. It wasn't like we weren't making adjustments or didn't care, but there's somewhere in between for this group that is, the spot for us. And it's different every year. It's different for every team. And I don't know how to figure it out. I don't know how to get it there until it gets there. And so I think that is where the opening round games and just competing and doing us, not, you know, not worrying about what other teams are doing, but knowing how we're going to match up, how we're going to adjust to what, who we're going to see. And I think that just is no different than how we are going to carry things into Georgia. You got 10 great teams with quality pitching, quality hitting, all the things, or we all wouldn't be there. So for us, it's just doing us, like giving ourselves a chance is going to mean, just loosening up and not pressing about things.
Was it a little bit different? I mean, pretty good gap between 2019, 2026, 4 national championships and mix there between your conference tournament championships. And also, that kind of speaks to how hard it is to win the Cascade tournament. Was it a little different this year being like, good job, ladies? And I'd be like, all right, here we are. Here's where we got to be. Was it a little bit different for you and your coaching staff?
You know, that banner on our field has bothered me for a long time because it's got, 2017, 2018, 2019, and then nothing. And yeah, you got the other banners, which are great. Like that's fine. But every time it does. It speaks to our conference and that that did that was that felt really special. Like I think that because it doesn't matter how many times it's not about the program. This team has never done any of that yet, and so that's like what is really cool I think for us, we knew that we hadn't actually shown up to play against any of our conference teams except Simpson, the way that we knew we could play. So there were four other teams there. I think we played solid against C of I, but a little up and down there. But we knew that we hadn't actually played the way we can play. And that was fun to be like, all right, we really have nothing to lose. Let's find this gear and let's make a statement here. Let's leave the conference tournament where it's at and build on that. And that felt like, yeah, it just that I was really proud of how we did that this year.
Something I think is really underrated about your program that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is, at least in my time covering, it's been the same group of assistant coaches that have helped build the program along with you. Can you talk about your staff and the important roles that they play into making Southern Oregon softball what it is?
I mean, it's everything. Like it really is. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak enough about the consistency and just the different roles, how good they are at what they do. I mean, Coach Bricker, there's just been 1 year in between when she played and when she came on as a coach that she hasn't been, a part of it, either on staff or as a player. And I mean, there are so many things that I've been able to just hand off to her that allow me to do other things that we couldn't tap into before. And she's just like, she's so good at so many things and, handles the pitching staff, programs, things. I mean, just she gets it in all facets. And so like to have her doing a lot of those same, like we just tag team and all the administrative stuff, what needs to be done. It's just like, all right, you do this, I do this, and we just go. And, Coach Bill and Coach Har, I mean, those two, and again, Coach Har was a player, obviously, for her 2 years and left her mark on this program as a player. And she is amazing. She's so wise, and she was as a player, like she was always different. But what she's been able to bring to this team and these players, just mentally, like just a groundedness of like confidence. And, she was an unbelievable hitter and a just, super solid catcher. So she brings these pieces that she can just help talk through the process. Like she's so committed to the process, but she is so bought into what we do here because it's a part of all of us. I mean, we have been able to be along for every step of the way together. And then adding Coach Bill, I mean, that was in 2023. It was his first, well, 2022 fall, 2023 season. I mean, it's crazy that that's, as long as it's been, like he's in his fourth season here with us. And I mean, it's it's so cool to have somebody from, baseball and somebody that's so familiar with the Valley and, can understand Ashland. He's just such a jack of all trades. And he's like, I mean, it's just so cool to have a male figure on our staff in that way that our women can look to, as players and as fellow coaches. I mean, we love and respect each other so much. Like he is so good at so many things that I couldn't even begin to like figure out. And he's got all of these pieces that he taps into and his whole community just like stretches out. So he's got his hand in a million things and he's such an asset. And then you got Coach Hanny, which you remember covering her as a
Oh yeah.
player. And I mean, I'm not saying that the rest of us are old, okay, but like to have somebody like her who is not that far removed and is also just wise beyond her years when it comes to softball, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to communication and just like playing your role and trusting the process. Like they are all so different, but so aligned. And I don't know, like she can give that insight, because she can be like, yeah, no, that's not gonna fly, or yeah, all the things that I mean, she is just so good at what she does and all the, you know, places that she gets to work and all the people that she touches. And last year we added Coach Kim onto our staff, and she's taken like so many of those things off of my plate that are like not administrative, but more operational, and like is also a jack of all trades with just a creative mind that is like, okay, how can we tap into get even more out of, what we're doing, give them just this amazing experience, and how can I help and support you and the other coaches? And so, I mean, she's so different and unique too to this group. And it's an amazing group of coaches, and it is 100% the reason why there's been able to be some consistency in growing our program and raising the standard because, like we're not having to start over, and there's so much trust there. And I would trust every single one of them with the most important things to me. I do. Like that's it. So yeah, I know that was probably a longer answer than you were
No,
looking for,
no,
but
no. That was great, and every second deserved. Because that's something that I've come to learn over my. Like I said, this is year 4 of me in softball, and having that staff, having that ability to have coaches like that on your staff, are a big reason for the success. Not saying you need to take your fair share of the credit
yeah.
yourself, but they do a great job.
Amazing. Like I would love to have played, for every one of them and just getting to work with them and how they do what they do. So yeah, I could not be more thankful for those guys. And yeah, and we have a ton of fun together too. Like just laughing so hard so often is one of my favorite things. I love working with them.
Well, Coach, I know when you're in Columbus, you're focused on what's happening there at South Commons Complex, but you've been to Columbus a time or two now. What's a spot, a restaurant, or something for fans maybe coming in for the first time? What's something you would recommend to them?
Well, yeah, we kind of have our staples. So like that the Greek place that's down on, gosh, they like changed it from our first few years in Columbus. It's still good, and it's like kind of Chipotle style, but it's Greek food, and it's
Okay.
not kava, but it's, something kind of along those lines a little bit. But tried and true, I'm a frozen yogurt junkie. So I would say, yeah, there's one right on the corner. It's like a block or two from the hotel. And um, I'm sure if anybody decides to go by, there's a good chance they might see me popping in. So,
Well, good. We'll know where to set up the Coach Pistol meet and greet then. Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Safe travels and best of luck in Columbus.
yeah, thank you, Reagan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up on our 2026 NAIA Softball World Series coaches and players interviews, we have got the Mobile Rams head coach Allison Sellers Cook and pitcher, my long lost distant cousin Avery Harrell. How we doing in beautiful Mobile, Alabama, ladies?
Yep, we're glad to be here. We're glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, Coach. We'll start with you. Talk a little bit about before we got rolling. 2022, we were both in Columbus. I was just trying to figure out what softball was all about. Y'all were making a run at a red banner. Your first time back since then. Talk about the journey and what it means to get your program back to Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, it's this year, has been an amazing year. This group of kids, we say it pretty much every day at practice, like they are truly the epitome of what family is. And we actually call it the Ramily. But they love each other. They don't care who's on the field. They are 100% behind one another. And I think that we started in this fall. I talked about how special this group is, and I'm like, you will do great things. And look where we're headed. So but I think it's from the fact that they truly are bought in to the family environment, to caring truly about their teammates, and just working for each other. So.
Avery, you're a player that started your career our first year with covering NAIA softball. Now to see you as a senior is starting to make me feel a little bit older, and it's been incredible to watch your career because you've done it for so long. You've been so consistent for so long. One of the reasons I think you've been able to have success is kind of what Coach Sellers Cook was just talking about, that Ramley. I love it. Who came up with that? Who came up with Ramley?
I don't even know. I feel like
It's been here a while.
it's been here a while.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, your family, your Ramley, your infield, your outfield, they've definitely had your back. Y'all come into Columbus leading not only the field of 10, but all of NAI softball with a 98.1% fielding percentage. Avery, when you're in the circle, knowing you have that kind of defense behind you, how much confidence does that give you?
I have so much confidence, like I don't feel the need to overdo it. I know that they're gonna have my back. They're making amazing plays every single time. It just feels natural to them. I have all the confidence in every single one of them.
Coach, obviously, that kind of defense, it's a culture thing. The ability
Hmm.
to get in front of a ball. Can you talk about how much you preach defense, defense, defense in your program?
Well, a whole lot. We do a lot of 21 outs. They have a lot of stipulations on them of what happens because basically, in the 21 outs when we do it, like you don't do it, you bobble a ball. Like I don't care if we still make the out. If there's a bobble, we're starting back over. It puts for some long days to start with, but puts also the pressure on them that prepares them that if they can do it in the environment that I'm asking them to do it in practice, then the game's easy. And that's something we had gotten away from, honestly, in the last couple years. It wasn't as that was not something that I made the priority, but like the 22 team we were talking about, like that's something we did every day. Actually, we're about to practice here in a little bit, and 21 outs is on the agenda. So, but it just puts the pressure on them. Like, we try to make them perfect. Because in the game, you're not going to be perfect. There are errors going to happen, but they're going to be few and far between.
Coach, the Southern States Athletic Conference had a phenomenal year. I think that was a trend we
Yeah,
saw a lot this year. The SSAC, Mid South, the Sun Conference, that whole arc was very strong with getting
super strong.
14 teams getting in to the opening round. And looking at the Southern States specifically, three teams in an opening round championship series. Y'all, of course, had to battle with Eastern Oregon, but just looking at the SSAC this year, would you say this is one of the stronger years for the conference? And you think it's something y'all can build on heading into 2027 as a conference?
Oh, absolutely. This is definitely one of the most strongest years that we've had. Our side in particular, like you had us, Cary, Blue Mountain, and UT Southern. We're all on one side and have to play each other four times, which is a battle. No, us, Cary, UT Southern, and Blue Mountain. I don't know if I said that or not, but the four. Blue Mountain gave us all we wanted the last time that we played them. And it's tough. You go in and you have to, doing that four times. I know that the Sun Conference does that as well. They have a 4 game series. It's hard to beat somebody four times. Like it's just hard. And just the competitiveness that each of those teams have. And then you have Faulkner that we all played at least twice on the other side of our conference, and Faulkner swings the bat. I mean, they shoot. You saw that last week down in Lakeland, and it's just very competitive. I do think that as a conference, we've made a name for ourselves as one of the powerhouse conferences in the country. So.
Absolutely. And the lineups really speak for themselves. And you hit the nail on the head. What I really took away from watching Faulkner in the lineup specifically, defensively, they were great. Obviously, Coach Hal Wynn does a great job, well coached group. I mean, they just foul off pitches. Like they just foul off good pitches. Every when you're facing lineups like Faulkner, William Carey, Blue Mountain, Tennessee Southern, does it get a little frustrating, especially when you start seeing them that second, third time throughout the season?
Yes. I get a lot. I get way too many foul balls, and they hit so many foul balls, and I just fighting for my life basically. But they're so good. They're such a hard team to pitch to.
Well, you are a hard team to hit against with yourself, Caitlin in the circle with you. Avery, can you talk about just the dynamic duo that y'all are and your pitching staff as a whole, just kind of the pitching room for the Rams and kind of how y'all are that little specific Ramley within the Ramley there with the pitchers?
Yeah, I think that we've just gone through a lot together, so we're very close, you know, our bullpens. We have a really tough fall, and I think it just kind of builds us together, you know, prepares us. And I love Katie, especially. I feel like we work so well because we're so different. Like we're completely two different pitchers, and I know that if I can't last the whole game, that she's gonna come in and she's gonna finish the job. Like I have full confidence in her and everyone else in our group. I love them, and I just think we're just so close. It helps us out.
I love it, Coach. Opening rounds, all 10 of them, obviously very difficult. I thought that the Mobile opening round, it was definitely one of the one or two of the toughest of the group. It had y'all
Yeah,
had Eastern Oregon that was there in the World Series with third place finish a year ago with a lot of
yeah,
returners. A Campbellsville team that was red hot. Indiana Tech with Savannah Bravo can beat
they were all
anybody.
good.
Yeah, they
Yep.
were all good. Truett McConnell, red hot there at the end of their season, winning the AAC. Having that competitive of an opening round and dropping a game where you had to go do it the hard way and win three straight elimination games. How did this past week really prepare you for the World Series?
Well, I think even it starts back at our conference tournament. And then we played Cary the last game of our regular season conference. We've seen some phenomenal pitching. And just, I mean, some of the top pitchers in the country. And it has just prepared us, you know, swinging the bat wise, like to be ready for that type of environment, that kind of pitching that we're going to see at the national tournament or at the World Series at the final site. So I think that's one of the big things. Eastern Oregon, man, that was a good team. They were I talked with their coach, like they could swing it. They could just they took some hacks, and we just it's just a battle. It's something that I told her. I said, look, me and you both, we should be playing these games at the final site because they're that competitive. Very very good team. I really couldn't say enough about them. About how good they are. Um, but I think all the environments that we've been placed in the last few weeks has really prepared us for this final site. So really good pitching.
It's going to be so exciting. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's always fun in Columbus, but I look at this year, Coach, it's kind of similar to 2024. 2 years ago, anybody could have won it.
Yep.
11, I think it was, yeah, 11 of the 18 games were one run ball games. If we can get something close to that number again, then we had like three walk-off home runs. So
Yep.
I've been chasing that high, that 24 World Series. I think this is an excellent chance to do it. Y'all are going to be playing a red hot team with the way Our Lady of the Lake came
Yep.
out of that Klamath Falls. I mean, 13 inning game, come back an hour later, beat Oregon Tech, and then win the necessary game the day after. What have you seen from Our Lady of the Lake? What are you kind of expecting out of that very exciting 4-5 matchup day one?
Well, we actually played them in Gulf Shores this year already. I do think both of us have grown into bigger and better teams. And it was a close game then. It was a 5-4. We beat them 5-4. There were errors made on both parts that helped some of those runs score. It was low hits games. Um, so I expect a really tough game. Like, I mean, they're a good team. I think they're also with the fact they had lost their coach early on, and then they have just really come together. They were a great team to watch, to talk to when we were playing. Like I know I talked to their dugout a good bit, but they knew what it was like to like just play for one another. So I think we're very similar in that matter. So I expect a really good game.
Yes, it's going to be fun. Always fun. That 4-5 matchup is always usually one of the more exciting ones of the day. Avery, just real quick, how excited are you to pitch on the biggest stage in NAIA softball?
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for 4 years. I've wanted to get to the World Series so bad, and I'm just really excited to be able to go and with this team. I just know we're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
love it.
excited.
Love it. I'm excited. Last time I did get to see you pitch in Columbus a couple of years ago. It was a little bit chillier at the NFCA little lead off. I think we'll be a couple ticks warmer in that department. But Avery Harrell, Coach Allison Sellers Cook, looking forward to seeing y'all. Safe trip to Columbus and best of luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up on our World Series interview episode, we have the head coach for the Saints of Our Lady of the Lake, Amanda Daria, and the starting pitcher, Annika Laterio. Ladies, how are we doing in West San Antonio?
Good. Hot. Very different organ.
I
That's for
bet.
sure.
I bet. I think a lot of teams they go into Columbus and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so hot. And for y'all, it's like this is kind of temperate. I was there in San Antonio last year, and it's one of the hottest places I've ever been.
Yep, it's humid, it's hot, everything in between. Yep.
Yeah, y'all will be well equipped for Columbus this week. Coach, let's start with this season. You take over right before the Gulf Shores trip. A tough situation to be put in, but if there's any team equipped with it, it's the Our Lady of the Lake Saints. Mentally tough group. Just talk about your team's mental toughness throughout this season that's helped y'all be one of the last 10 teams in NAIA softball.
We've I can't think of the word right now. Our mental toughness has buckled a little bit here and there. But we talk about our goal, we talk about playing for something bigger than ourselves, and it's towards the end of the season, the girls have really bought into it. So I think that's what's helped us get as far as we have.
And can you talk a little bit as a senior leader, how you and other seniors were able to step up and just keep the ship nice and steady through the middle part of the season? What was kind of your message to everybody and just the senior leader's message to the team?
Well, I think for me, it was always just one step at a time, and like Coach Amanda said, it was always play for something bigger than myself. I get one last opportunity to play with my sister and these seniors, and it was just amazing to be able to come out and play for my city and just show like how much I respect them and I thank them for all their support that they've done for this program.
Right there, you just said play for your city, Annika. You're one of many. Caitlin Casas for San Antonio as well, and many others. Your sister, like you said, Brianna Ramirez, Melina Gonzalez, many others that I know. There's just a couple that I know are San Antonio girls. I don't think there's a team in NAI softball that plays for their city more than Our Lady of the Lake. Just talk about how y'all how y'all represent San Antonio by the way y'all play on the field.
You know, we're a very small university, and the west side of San Antonio is very small. We're overlooked most times, but this community comes out and shows us how much they love us and support us, and will do anything to make sure that we're taken care of, whether it's waters in the dugout or if we have fruit in between games. Like this community has come and support us every day. And these girls have cherished every moment that they can with them and be able to say thank you by playing our best ball as well as just going out and winning a regional in Klamath Falls and be able to say, you know what, I did that for my city. I did that for us, for the team.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt San Antonio, one of my favorite cities. I've had the privilege of visiting in my time covering NAI softball, going out there last year. I don't always remember restaurants that I go to. I'll never forget the Rusty Bucket and Natalie's. I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. Like, give me my brisket platter, give me the Natalie's breakfast tacos. Coach, I got to get out there next year. We got to make sure I'm out in San Antonio next year.
Yes, we'll definitely do something.
Well, Coach, y'all went up to Klamath Falls, Oregon Tech, tough place to go win at. Y'all's path, though was incredible. You fall down early to a St. Thomas team. You come back, win that game 13-7, and then the Dickinson State game in the elimination game after losing 2-1 to Oregon Tech. That's a 13 inning just mental battle, mental and physical. You then have to get ready in less than an hour because then you have to go beat Oregon Tech to keep your season alive. What did you say to the ladies in the huddle after that Dickinson State game to be like, hey, regroup? No, we just pretty much played two games, but we got to go play and win another.
Um, we had already been in the situation prior. If you look back at our conference tournament as well, we had to go 3 games to take it all. So them pushing through it physically wasn't really the issue. It was more mentally the 0-0 innings, we gotta hold them, we gotta hold them. And after everything we've been through this year, I feel like I said, they've really bought into the play for something bigger. And our mentality has been, why not us? Why don't we deserve it? Why can't we get our way there? And so far, we've gotten pretty far with that mentality. The girls, they dig deep, and regardless if they're tired, if they're in a slump or whatever the case is, in those right moments, they're built for it, and they rise up to the occasion.
And okay, the last 2 years for our lady, like you win the national championship in 2024, but last year you get still, I mean, you could throw in the 10 opening round sites from this year. It was the most competitive, most challenging opening round last year with Eastern Oregon and Middle Georgia State, a really challenging opening round. Y'all come up just short in it. What was it once you got to Oregon Tech, knowing, hey, we got to push through, we got to get back to Columbus and try to get a second red banner. Just over the course of the off season, with the coaching change and everything happening, and still y'all are here among the elite. And never really wavered throughout the season. Just talk about the mental toughness that is just instilled in the group there in West San Antonio.
Like you said, we've come through a long way, with some very unfortunate news and a lot of things changing. But one thing that didn't change was the girls on the team. And that mentality was like, okay, you know what? Like, we got to rely on each other more than anything. And if one person wasn't having a good day, it was like, you know what? Hey, the next person's going to pick you up. I think I talked about it early in the year. Some days you're not going to be 100%. You got to give whatever you have that day, whether it's 50, 70, 80, 90. There's other girls around you who can pick up that 10% or that 20% that you're missing to be able to push through and persevere through any difficult challenges that they're facing that day.
Coach, looking ahead, 4-5 matchup is always one of the more exciting matchups. Day one in Columbus, second on a Mobile Rams team that you got to face earlier in the season. What did you take away from that game? Obviously, teams have changed a lot over the last couple of months. Just what are you expecting in that matchup with another really talented squad in Mobile?
Um, we're gonna build off of that last game. We learned, I feel like we've gotten a lot better in our at bat approaches, our defensive plays. Like you said, right before going to Gulf Shores, everything kind of fell on us, and it was tough for those first couple of weeks. But after we got back from Georgia, I think we really bounced back. We were able to kind of clean up a lot of our stuff, and it kind of showed throughout season. So just looking back at that game, and there was no film. So it's kind of just like what we remember, what we saw, our kind of like play by plays that we took, like on our notes and everything. It's just building off of the errors we made that game.
And okay, can you talk a little bit about the relationship you have with Valerie Viema? Y'all have become just I see you smiling. I love it. Just that 1-2 punch that y'all are in the circle, really dynamic, that led y'all to a Red River tournament title and a Klamath Falls regional title. Can you talk about the 1-2 punch, number 16, number 17 in the Saints uniforms?
Yeah, it's amazing to have. I mean, Val, just in general, like she is an amazing person and an amazing player. I know that if I'm not on, she's going to be on and she's going to go deal and show everybody, who we are at the end of the day. And being able to say, that's my picture right there is just an amazing feeling because I know Klamath Falls wasn't my best performance and Val stepped up and said, you know what, hey, I got you today. I'm going to help you today. And it was always like inning by inning, pitch by pitch. And if I was dealing, she'd come up to me and say, "Hey, that's amazing," and I'd go up to her and, "Hey, that you did that, like you shut them down," type of mentality, and that's how we've taken this season. We have a saying of like we are one because at the end of the day, most teams have 4 or 5 pitching staff, and there's only 2 of us. So to say that 2 pitchers have done this is just an amazing feeling, and we cherish our relationship every day.
I love it, Coach. As a young head coach stepping into the role, middle of the season, having that kind of mentality in the circle's got to be a little bit of weight off your back. Yeah.
100%. When they're on, it's a breeze. But like we said, like that's not the case every game. That's not reality of of the softball world. They do have off days and everything, and it's really nice that they do pick each other up. Especially when something isn't working, whether it's a pitch or just their mentality in the circle. They really do bounce well off of each other, and they help each other get out of it.
Coach, has anything been said for players that were there 2 years ago and have a national championship ring on their finger? Was anything been said? And you don't you can hold some cards close. You don't have to tell me and everybody listening everything. But what's been said amongst the group of players that have been in Columbus? Be like, hey, this is what to expect because it is the biggest stage. It is different than even an opening round. What's just been said to just prepare y'all to win? Try to win 5, 6, 7 ball games in Columbus.
Um, the biggest thing that the girls have kind of really shared is just keeping our like playing our game, playing Saint softball when we go out there, and not swinging out of our shoes, not looking for a play that's out of the ordinary. Like we're gonna go and we're gonna do what we know how to do, and at the end of the day, we're gonna be okay.
Annika, this being your senior year, a lot of seniors on this team. What's been said amongst the seniors? Like, hey, let's go out here and finish this thing the right way, the Saint way.
I think we've all talked about it, and it's just like to have fun. At the end of the day, it's like we've come through adversity and we faced it head on, and it's like why not us at the end of the day? It's just a moment that we get to have. We get to play one more game. We get to, have one more bat, one more pitch, and it's the senior group is an amazing class. I wouldn't have it with anybody else, and I think that they bring out the best of everybody, whether it's, yelling from center field that they caught a ball or that they hurt themselves and like shaking it off, or whether it's kicking a hacky 5 feet from their partner and just laughing it out. But it's just having fun at the end of the day and just making sure that everybody has laughs and not playing tense. We started off very tense, and the senior class has come together and said, what can we do better? And it's like, just have fun at the end of the day. So I think that's this group, what we have done is just make sure that everybody's playing loose, relax, and not so tense.
I'm looking forward to seeing some Saints softball. I'm looking forward to y'all's fan base, which is awesome. Get the Olu chant rocking in South Commons Complex. Coach Amanda Davia, I just want to say again, a huge tip of the cap. What you were able to do, getting your team, leading your team into the national tournament. Annika leading the way as a leader as well. Ladies, congratulations on punching your ticket and best of luck in Columbus this week.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up on our 2026 NAIA Softball World Series Coaches episode, welcome on the coach from the Cumberland Patriots, Bruce Lennington, heading back to Columbus, Georgia, this time in the red, white, and blue. Coach, how we doing, brother?
Buddy, we're doing great. If you're talking to me at this time of the year, it means we're still playing softball. So, we're super excited to be one of the 10 teams standing, and it's been a crazy year and a great story, but I'm glad that it's not quite over. So it's great to be able to talk to you today.
Coach, you made it through an incredibly difficult opening round. It was one we deemed the group of death with Kaiser, Saint Xavier, Benedict, and Oakland City. It was a great group. You had to win 3 straight elimination games to punch your ticket into Columbus. This time of the year, though, it's about experience. That's a big factor. You have a very experienced group with players that have played on the biggest stage, whether it's with you in San Antonio or done it with Coach Bailey Dillender and Cumberland's. How much of that experience play into the factor of y'all punching your ticket into Columbus?
Yeah, I thought it was a big factor. We've got 10 players who have had their feet in that stadium at the World Series in some capacity, whether they were a role player, whether they were a starter, heck, or whether they caught the national championship game in 2024. I mean, and all three of our coaches have been there. And so that, I think we kind of attack this week with a different sense of calm. It's different than having a senior laden team. That's different than having World Series experience on your team, because sometimes when you have a team full of seniors, they start to play tight when they realize the moment is finally here. That's different than having players who are seasoned enough that they can learn lessons from their previous trips. I mean, that's the difference. It's not just, hey, we have a bunch of seniors, because we really only have about a handful of kids who are out of eligibility after this year. But it's the vast majority of those 10 players, those are kids that are going to be back, but No, it's that there's a sense of calm when you've been in those fires, if you will, and whether you win them or not, I think you know how to make the plays. It's just a matter of trying to make them.
One thing that was a little bit different for the group, whether they done it at Olu or done it at Cumberland's, usually a one seed. They've done a lot of experience as a one seed. With y'all being a three seed, especially in your own backyard, that's kind of weird. Was the approach any different, or was it, hey, same thing? We're playing the same two, three, maybe four opponents this week, and we got to take care of business and punch our ticket to the next stage of the postseason?
When they're going through the whole national seeding and stuff, we knew we weren't going to be a one seed. I think we went in with 18 losses. It's a lot of losses, buddy. And good old Coach Bruce here is not used to all those losses. But that's us learning and maturing throughout this year and trying to figure out the right pieces of the puzzle to put in place to make us the most competitive. And so when they started to, talk about seeding 1 to 48, we knew we could either be of kind of a lower 2 or a higher 3. And I think now that the World Series seeding has come out, we're probably a higher 3, one of those. And that's probably about right. I mean, there's a lot of losses. I mean, I think we're going to the World Series with 19 losses. So we feel fortunate that all those losses mean is that we're playing our best softball right now. I don't think anybody can debate that. And that's really all you're trying to do at this time of the year. So you can certainly have a better record and then run into a hotter team at the end of the year and be a one seed, or you can do it the way we're doing it, which is kind of let's grow this thing over time, because I think it was out of necessity. I don't think having all those moving pieces together, we weren't going to be hitting on all cylinders right away. It's virtually impossible. So yeah, that part of it, I think we understood, and I'm very happy that we were able to be a host. I mean, obviously I have very, very little to do with it because I'm so new here, but our facility is phenomenal. And so it's a great place to host a regional. We had great, great things said about our facility by anybody who had never been here before. So, and our people do a great job of hosting a regional. So that was great to see. But no, not really. As far as the seating goes, we throw them all out. I know that's coach speak, but it's true. It doesn't matter. You can talk to the number of one seeds. So unfortunately, like I was last year, we were a one seed, did not get through. That one does not help you at this time of the year. You've got to play. If anything, it puts a bullseye on your back. But even that doesn't matter. Just whoever's playing better is going to win these games. And that's all we're trying to do.
You mentioned coming into the opening round with 18 losses. Was at any point this year did the team like come together and say this is not the best we can play, or what was it about it to just saying we know the level we play, we just got to play our best softball at the right time of the year, and how are y'all able to accomplish that to get to Columbus?
That's a great question, and I don't think there was one point or some big players meeting or some come to Jesus meeting. It just wasn't any of that. It literally just took time. And part of it was, how our coach was handling all these losses. I could have done a much better job, trust me. And so, I could have done a much better job much earlier. And I'm going to just go on record as saying that. And all my players, if they were here, they'd be saying amen, but and then part of it is they're still trying to get to know, well, what does this guy want? I mean, where does he want us to go on this play? What's he want us to do on this situation? I mean, that's part of that. And then there was a leadership vacuum here because you have so many different players coming in from different aspects. You have returners. We graduated a ton of really good leaders out of this program. And then we brought in some other older players. I think every kid that we brought in was either a junior, a senior, or grad, except for one freshman that we brought in when I came in. So we had a lot of older players, but now, what's their role going to be on this group? I mean, it takes time to kind of work that out. You can't come in day one and say, oh, listen, by the way, I was a leader on my last team. I'm going to be your leader. Hi, my name is Leader. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So it takes time, and I think people have started to, fulfill roles that for the betterment of the team, and I think that's why we're playing a little better right now. And we were certainly the best team in Williamsburg this last week, and that's all you're really trying to do.
100%. And you look at one of those names who's definitely stepped up on the field this year and has been on that stage, as you mentioned before. Grace Ross, incredible season, 19 doubles, 18 home runs. You talk about how she's stepped up and been a real force in the middle of your lineup this year.
Well, we say it's in the middle. I lead her off.
That's
So
true. That's true. Yeah.
that tells you how smart I am. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. But I think her at bats over the course of the year, I don't know how many more she's going to get, but that's just what our philosophy is. And she's a really good athlete. I mean, it's not like she's a great big power hitter that just doesn't have athleticism. I mean, but she's been great, and she's been great in both sides. I mean, we've got a really good catching core, and I think that's important to note that, we've got a young lady named Mackenzie Henderson, who's a D1 transfer at catcher, who is phenomenal. And she's been injured for most of our season through a lot of those 18 losses coming into last week. And her bat, and she is in the middle of the lineup. She hits 4 for us. Her bat and her ability to go behind the dish and allow us to keep some of our big bats in the lineup by having Grace go out and play right field to start some of those games. Number one, it frees up Grace health-wise, and it also gives us some stability within our lineup. We can move some pieces around. So she's been out for a while, but that name is a name that I think has been a big reason why we've been good. She had a great week. She had one of the most impactful swings that we had is a 7th inning home run in an elimination game. It's her first home run of the year. And it's just because she hasn't had a ton of at-bats. I mean, she's been out. She's had the worst luck with injuries. And now she's somewhat healthy and she's playing, and we have missed her. So, Mackenzie Henderson is a big reason why I think Grace Ross is as fresh as she is behind the dish. But that combination of those two kids behind the dish really quieted a very aggressive run game out of a couple of opponents that we had this week. It's not because we were doing anything special. It's because they respected the two kids that were behind the dish. And so, but I wanted to mention her. I know we talk about Grace a lot, and for a good reason. If people have eyes, and she should be a first-team All-American. I don't really, go and try to get votes for kids, but if we're going to have an All-American team, she needs to be on her. We probably shouldn't have an All-American team. I mean, she's phenomenal, and she's finally healthy. This is the healthiest that I've ever seen her in the 3 years that she's played for me.
Yeah, if I start counting on my fingers NAIA softball players this year and I start to get to my second hand, I don't think I'm getting all my fingers down before I talk about Grace Ross in the season she's had. But I'm glad you mentioned Mackenzie Henderson because she was the X factor for Carly and I in our World Series preview. I mean, you said it, the home run in the top of the 7th against St. Xavier. Not only that, phenomenal defensively. She had that diving catch against St. X that I saw on the live stream. And I was like, okay, this is why he's able to move Grace, because you're right. You're trying to get a girl to catch, whether it's 50, 60 plus games in a season. That's a long season, especially if you're trying to do it 7 times in Columbus, Georgia. But the pitcher who stepped up and really phenomenal job and gave her a ton of flowers for what she did in the opening round, because without her, don't know if you and I are having this conversation right now. Jessica Cord, can you talk about how she has stepped up and just been incredible in the circle for you at this postseason run?
Well, listen, I think the big reason why is because I think our pitching coach, Cassie Valdez, is getting a lot more out of her than I ever could. And that's just the truth. And I think those two have worked very well together. And they're a lot alike in a lot of ways. They really, really are, in the way they come at hitters. And so I don't think there's a better pitch caller or pitching coach for Jessica Cord than Cassie Valdez. And there's times where she's in the middle of a fight out there, and I can hear our pitching coach, Cassie Valdez, bellowing out, these words of encouragement of go get her. And so what? It's 2-0 or 3-0. Now I am starting to understand that those words were what she was saying to herself when she was in the circle. And now it's so special to hear her try to get the same thing. It's just cool to see. Not every great player is a great coach. But we've got a really, really up and coming rising star in the coaching profession. And those two have worked so good together. But this week has been one of the guttiest performances I've ever seen in my 3 million years of coaching, it seems, right? But no, Jessica Cord, and she's been in every fight. We came into that week with 18 losses. Now we have 19, right? We're going to the World Series with 19 losses. We have 13 one-run losses, and she was in the circle for the vast majority of those, okay? So she gets the ball whenever we go face the best teams in the country. She gets the ball. That's her job. But and I'm telling you right now, we're winning a lot of those one-run games now that we weren't able to do earlier in the year. And if we win 10 of those games, we have 50 wins right now. And I'm telling you, that's kind of how we're playing. I'd rather be playing like this now than early. But no, Jessica Corden, she's better now than I think she was early as well. So it's all kind of coming together. But I really want to give flowers to our pitching coach because I think she's getting the most, not just out of Jess, but our entire staff.
Well, and Cassie Valdez, 2024 World Series MVP, knows a thing or two about getting it done in Columbus. Coach, this will be my fifth World Series, fourth that I've covered with NAISB, and I've only seen Jessica Pistole and yourself lift the trophy as the head coach. You look up, the 3-6 matchup is the matchup I am most excited for day one in Columbus, Georgia. Southern Oregon, Cumberland's your first time coaching against Coach Pistole. How much are you looking forward to that matchup?
Well, not a lot, really. I mean, it'd be great.
Good answer. Good answer.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, probably bad question. Good answer to a bad question.
Come on. No, I'd be great. I'd be happy to be watching that from the hotel or up in the stands. And no, listen, she's the bar. She and Phil are the bar in our profession. They just are. I think they were gracious enough to let Jaden win one in 2018 and me win one in 2024. Well, they've taken all the rest of them in recent memory, and for good reason. I mean, they know how to coach at this time of the year. And what I can tell you is that you can't dismiss the coaching element at this time of the year. There's a reason they keep going back there. And so coaching matters at this time of the year. So they made a lot of mistakes is what I'm telling you. And they've learned from those mistakes, and they're trying to teach their teams now about those other teams' mistakes. And that's all I'm trying to do too. But she has won with different types of teams. That tells you how great of a coach she is. I mean, her team last year is totally different than the team that won it in 23. I mean, but they won it anyway, and their path was totally different. Coming through the loser, I mean, losing the very first game. And wouldn't it be great? Let's do that again, Jess. Let's do that again. Let's have you lose the very first game in the bracket. And that would be a great story again to see if you can come to the loser bracket again. We would be a big fan of that. But I mean, they had two battles with Marion, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
last 12
year.
inning game and a 9-inning game.
Yeah. So Marion nipped them in the first one. And to their credit, they came through and found a way to, I mean, those games are, anybody can win those games. And that's why you think about, well, hey, they're national champs. But I mean, Marion could have got them. I mean, along the way, you got to find ways to win games when maybe you're not playing great or the other team is finding a way to kind of exploit some of your weaknesses. That all comes down to coaching. And so, she's the standard of excellence in the country. And I am looking forward to being on the field with her, honestly. I mean, we don't shy away from the best teams in the country. We are right now starting to begin our scout of them. And what I can tell you is my initial thoughts are they are a very well coached team. Shocker, right? Yeah. But they are a very, very well coached team. And we are going to, have to play very, very well to be competitive with them next Thursday.
What they did a year ago, winning 7 straight out of the losers bracket to win the national championship, it was an anomaly. I think it's the best word to just describe it. Incredibly impressive, of course. The first game, obviously, our next game's our most important game. But that first game seems so important because you know it. You won the World Series winning your first game. You went 0-2, obviously losing your first game in your 2 previous trips to the NAIA Softball World Series. How important, and this is another kind of soft question, but how important is that first game just to stay and enter that process of playing every other day in the World Series?
Well, you know what? In 2023, we were going to do just what Southern Oregon did, but then Carly Pfizer came along and just told us go home. I mean, that was not very fair of Carly, but that was a big reason why we did go 2 and barbecue that year, is because she just swung us into our bus and told us to go on back to San Antonio, which was not very nice of her. But no, I mean it's a much tougher path. Now I will tell you, if you have a stable of, and there's a few teams that have a lot of really good depth in pitching, it may not be as tough of a road as it is for some of us who are kind of leaning on one or maybe two arms, and that would be us. I mean, I think that Jess has thrown over 200 innings for us, which is way too many. I know that as a coach, but it would be very difficult for us. But what I'll tell you is, it's not going to matter our path, and that's what we're going to teach and preach this week. And that first game is not any bigger than the game we had on Thursday to get there. Or can I tell you the very first practice in September when we got together? And I know it's coach speak, but that's what we preach in our program, is that softball is softball. Our standard is our standard. We're going to work just as hard and have just as much attention to detail in our practices as we are going to be in what people might call a big game. Because if you have that big game mentality, you play differently when it's, oh man, this is a big game. We learned that if you do that, if you do have a different mindset when someone's calling it a big game, you don't play the same. And so we try to be very consistent in our approach. We try to respect the game, and we try to play it the right way every time we play it, and then let the results take care of themselves.
Another path you could do if you lose that first game is what Southern Oregon did a year ago. Get an 18-year-old to throw 50-something innings with 60-something strikeouts and only give up a handful of earned runs. That's one way to do it.
I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that down, Reagan. Thank you. That's very good.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun. You and Southern Oregon kicking things off. It's always fun in Columbus, Georgia. Coach Bruce Linnington, I appreciate you, my friend. Best of luck. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up on our World Series interview episode, we have the head coach for the College of Idaho Yotes, Coach Al Mendiola, and Chloe Flershinger. Nailed it, Chloe. Great, great there. Coach, Chloe, how are we doing up in beautiful Caldwell, Idaho?
Good. It's hot, but a little breezy.
I got you. Yeah, I'm jealous. I feel like now in the postseason, up in that time of the year, it's nice. When I was at the Cascade tournament a couple of years ago in Klamath Falls, we missed a day because of snow. But I guess that's just weather up in that neck of the world.
Yeah, we have a little different weather than Klamath Falls, so it wouldn't have snowed like that if we were here in Caldwell hosting. But
there you go. Well, Coach, I want to say congratulations, punch your ticket back to the World Series. What a run from your program. You got hot in the conference tournament, made a nice run, and then you get down to a very competitive opening round site in Chickasha, Oklahoma. Talk about your squad's overall performance, taking down some really quality opponents, punching your ticket to Columbus.
Well, first starts with the pitching. Early in the season, we didn't get to utilize Keno Watts, and so we got a good feel with Drew Williams and Riley Smith. One of our top seniors went down with a labrum tear, and she was out for the year. But so we had to work Keno in a little bit quicker than I think we expected. So the start of the season was slow. We ended up going to Arizona, going 8-2, but then had the gauntlet of a conference, opening up with Oregon Tech, then following it up with Southern Oregon, and then you got a bye, I think, and then we had Eastern Oregon, and then we had a Warner Pacific, and then we play British Columbia. So 4 out of our first 5 conference games were against the top 4 teams in the conference, and so we were battle tested. We still had to do a lot of things to work on, but we learned a lot about ourselves and the grit and when it came to the conference tournament, we were prepared for every team since we played them 4, sometimes 5 times. And it definitely prepared us for the opening round.
Chloe, I'm a Sun Conference guy. I worked for the Sun Conference, went to a Sun Conference institution, but I wave that Cascade softball banner very, very highly. It is, to me, the top conference, the power conference, if you will, of NAIA softball. As a player that's played your career in the Cascade, how would you describe the grind of playing Cascade softball?
Yeah, coming in as like a freshman, like I had no idea like what I was getting myself into. And like I didn't know that like stacking up this whole conference, like we were going to be like the conference to watch in the country. And like I think just over the years it's only gotten stronger. Like it's been every single weekend. It's not just like an easy weekend. Like some conferences probably have that team where it's like, oh, this is like we can play whoever we want and still win. Like we don't even have a single team. Like our last team is still like can beat anyone on any given day, and like multiple teams proved it with like Corbin taking games from like the top teams in the nation as well. And like so I think it's just been like a grind between everyone, and you truly never know who's gonna come out on top.
Coach, like I was saying earlier, I was at that 2024 Cascade Conference tournament, and the level of softball played there was incredible. What I also saw was great sportsmanship. The right way to play was on display. Y'all showed it in another level, going to British Columbia, play them going to Oklahoma City to cheer on your Cascade sisters in British Columbia. Talk about the how y'all battle in the Cascade, but you also have a great amount of respect for each other.
Yeah, I think the key word that you mentioned is respect. Every coach there, there's a purpose and why they're there. I mean, you look at Oregon Tech and Southern Oregon. Nicole has changed the program around at Eastern Oregon. Jen has changed the program there at UBC. But we also have some new faces and younger faces. But as a conference, the coaches, we all get along really well. Whenever we have coaching meetings, we're always congratulatory with each other and whatever we accomplish. It's just a fraternity or sorority of coaches who just truly believe that we are the top conference in the nation, and we're going to definitely support each other because that's huge for our conference when it comes to the ratings period, and when it comes to other conferences inviting us to tournaments like yours and Shawnee. So.
Something I see a lot across the NAIA, but really in college softball, yes, NAIA softball, it's being able to support teams and then building relationships with girls that aren't on your team. I think that's a really cool thing. It's obviously, Chloe, something y'all have with some players on British Columbia. It's got to be kind of cool after going and seeing them play. It's like, okay, now we get to play each other in Columbus. Just can you talk about from the student athlete side, just that level of respect and playing within the Cascade?
Yeah, so a lot of us from like the Cascade Conference, I feel like are also from the Pacific Northwest. So like we're playing against girls that we have like grown up playing against. And then so like it's like before the games, like we're not really talking, like during the games, obviously not, but then after it's like I can have a conversation with you and we're not gonna be like rude to each other, and we're just gonna be all there for each other. And like truly everyone just wants to see the Cascade Conference like succeed within each other, whether it's like us supporting OIT going somewhere or someone supporting us going somewhere. Like all of us just want to see each other succeed. And then when we play each other, we play each other. But if we're not playing each other, we're there supporting each other.
There's the mental toughness you have to have for the group, talking about that stretch of games with OIT, EOU, Southern Oregon, at UBC, et cetera, throughout the Cascade. You got to have a really mentally tough group. When did you know throughout this year, this is a group that's mentally strong and can get into an opening round site, win some ball games, and punch their ticket into Columbus?
Well, I think that the conference itself, especially the tournament, prepares us for opening rounds. I mean, if you look at the history in the last couple of years, the third place seed in the conference tournament won the conference tournament that was third in the standings of the conference. But the mental toughness, I think, comes from the grind of 36 conference games, 4 of them against top 25 or 30 teams. But what we have been able to do, and I really appreciate this from the team, is we let yesterday go because we know there's always tomorrow. And today we're in the present. So when we played OIT, we were in a lot of games. If you look at our schedule and the losses, you look at the scores, they weren't pretty, but we were in a lot of games that we lost. We just couldn't finish them. And early in the year, when you don't finish a game against quality teams like that, you're going to give them opportunities and lose. Well, now we're able to finish games and look at the outcomes of those. So.
Yeah, being able to finish games huge in these tight ball games, especially postseason style games. Chloe, as a leader on the College of Idaho softball team, how have you seen the team evolve this season into being mentally stronger and being able to close out these tough games?
It has truly like been insane. And I think like something like truly like switched in us at conference tournament. Like we had one loss and all of a sudden we're playing like 6 or 7 games in the weekend, which is we haven't done that since high school. So it's been like I think something just flipped in us in conference tournament. Our bats like lit on fire and our pitching like dug down. I think as a team, like we truly came together and nothing was stopping us. And continuing into the opening round, nothing was stopping us there.
Coach, College of Idaho is a special place for you and your family. Deep ties within the basketball and volleyball programs, obviously softball programs there in Caldwell. What does College of Idaho and being a Yote mean to you?
Uh, it means a lot because what they have offered, provided for me when I was a student athlete here, I'm trying to provide to now our student athletes. The college truly cares about the people involved. It doesn't matter what department you work for. We all have value, and we're all equal. When you have a genuine president who gets emotional about seniors graduating and talking about asking their stories and talking about their stories, our president's an alum. Actually, our CEO, sorry, as an alum. And so this college really treated me well, took care of me, made sure that I was going to succeed as a student athlete. And so I still think that they continue that with this generation of young ladies and men. And so to have my daughter play for me in 2021, which I'm going to say is the last time we went to Columbus, Georgia, was in 2021 when my daughter was a senior. Now having my son play basketball and win a national championship, my wife being a volleyball coach of 25 years. This is, we bleed purple. We love the College of Idaho, and well, there's not another institution that can care for the people that are involved in it as much as College of Idaho does.
Yeah, Chloe, I'd love for you to just piggyback off that. Coach talk about his playing experience and as a parent of a student athlete there, as a current student athlete, how would you say College of Idaho has set you up for success after you hang up the cleats?
Honestly, like the academics at this school truly like prepare. Like there's no other school like I've ever seen in this country that has the programs that we have. And like genuinely, like it's become a family because my sister plays volleyball here too under Liz, and she's a sophomore. And so like it's kind of become like a family affair for us too. And like the family that we've built with like Al and his family within my own has been like, it's something I know I would not have found anywhere else in the country.
I love it, Coach. It's been 5 years since you were in Columbus, Georgia, with the Yotes. Is there other than South Commons Complex, obviously, is there a place in Columbus that you're really looking forward to get back to?
Well, the chatter is zip lining the Chattahoochee.
There we go. That's fun. I've done that before.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
time.
Memories of the zoo back then. But, in 2021, our girls missed graduation. So we had a small ceremony in Columbus for them. And so that was a pretty memorable moment for the parents and the graduates because, not being able to walk in front of your colleagues and but still being acknowledged. So there were so many memories that we had, especially, I'm going to go there with this, when you have the Cascade Conference in 2021 finishing 1, 2, and 3 in the tournament. It just makes that Cascade Conference so special because when we were playing other teams, the fans, the teams were all there supporting the Cascade Conference. Until we had to play Oregon Tech. Obviously you're going to have some games where you can't cheer for the other team, but when it came all down, when we got defeated by Southern Oregon, all you hear in the stands was 1, 2, 3, CCC, 1, 2, 3. It was just amazing. So, looking forward to going back and seeing what we can do again. Unfortunately, we do have to open up with a Cascade Conference team, and notice that Southern Oregon is also in our bracket. But you know what? You got to play them eventually, so let's do it now, right?
Absolutely. And hey, whoever falls in that opening game between y'all and British Columbia, I would say decent shot. They got a chance of picking up a win or two. But it's Columbus.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's great games. 18. Hope I'm always down for 19 games. It's sad, less than 20 games, but it's going to be fun in Columbus. Coach Al Mendiola, Chloe Fleshinger, appreciate y'all so much for your time and safe travels. Looking forward to see y'all in Columbus.
Yeah, see you there in
Thank you.
Columbia.
Absolutely. Now we're going to kick it over.
I meant Columbus. Sorry.
There we
Not
go.
Columbia,
There we go.
Columbus. Yeah.
There we go. Columbus. There we go. All right. Next up for our NAIA Softball World Series coaches interviews, we welcome on first-year head coach for the Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats, Coach Kelsey Koistra. Coach, at your alma mater, first year, it's going pretty good, if I say so.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Reagan. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Coach, let's start with Indiana Wesleyan. We talked about it briefly before we started recording. Very special institution. I loved being up there for the opening round a year ago. You played there. What makes IWU such a special place?
Man, I feel like I could probably talk this entire time about what makes it special.
We have no time limit, so take all the time
Okay,
you need. Yeah.
great, sounds good. Well, I do have to head to Georgia at some point, so that's probably, but no, truly it is. I was at Cornerstone previously, and I don't know that there's a single other school that I would have considered leaving Cornerstone for besides coming back here to Indiana Wesleyan. As a recruit back in the day, I felt it immediately when I set foot on campus, and I got to experience it for 4 years as an athlete. It just truly embodies just that Christ-centered atmosphere here at Indiana Wesleyan. Our athletic department, we emphasize what we call the both and, which is where we focus on we want to pursue excellence on the softball field. So we want to pursue excellence in what we're doing athletically, but we can do that while also pursuing Christ at the highest level possible. So I just you really have to experience it, and like you said, you were here last year and you got to feel that, you got to experience it. It truly is special when you can play freely, you can play for a mission that's just far greater than winning softball games, which is a lot of fun, absolutely. But it takes a lot of pressure off, and you can play so much more free when your priorities are set in that way.
Yeah, and it's just an incredible atmosphere and incredible season for y'all to continue building on. Coach, you played at Indiana Wesleyan, some very successful years there. You've been to the World Series before. What advice have you given your team? I know you're going to keep some cards close to your chest, but what's kind of been the overlying things? Because it turns into something completely different from the conference tournament to the opening round. You feel that a real shift in the season, and then a second, quicker shift, of course, into the World Series. So, what's your message to your team in preparing for a Red Banner run?
Yeah, you know, very little, honestly. This team, the transformation that we had from how we kind of finished our regular season, which was not on a note that we wanted to finish. Conference tournament did not go the way we anticipated, and honestly, I would say the last few weeks before we had an opening rounds just we weren't us, and we kind of just challenged the girls before had an opening rounds, like, hey, it's you guys get to make a choice here. Choose to want to extend the season and play freely and play with joy and just enjoy every moment of it. Or if you're ready, let's be done. And it was just truly immediately when we took off and headed to opening rounds, like you could just tell they were just so hungry to be together more, to spend more time together, to just go out there and compete and hopefully bring a bunch of just praise and honor to our Lord. And they did that. And so I don't feel like us as a coaching staff, we have to do much right now. They truly are they're embracing it. They are just loving this ride. They're loving spending more time together. From my experiences, I felt like I was very wound up. I was very tight and stressed when I played in the World Series as an athlete. So my goal as a coach is just try to keep them loose, keep them having fun, realizing that, yeah, we get to go play at the World Series, but like, that's not going to change anything about who you are. It's not going to define you whether we go and win or we go and lose. You're just getting more opportunities to love each other, play hard, and go out there and fight together. So.
Southeastern University has an assistant coach that played at the World Series. And I got to hear her talk to the team a little bit after they punched their ticket against Faulkner about what it means to play in the World Series and how it's just one of the most fun weeks that you're going to have in your softball journey. Can you speak a little bit to that and what it's like to be a player at the NAIA Softball World Series?
Yeah, it is definitely different, and it's in such a special way. Like the NAI does a great job of making it be like, hey guys, you've put a lot of work in, and we're going to show our appreciation for that. We did a couple different things, but just different ceremonies and like parties and things that they get to have for you from the beginning to end, right? Like the treatment, you feel like you're that Division I athlete, which is super fun. So it really is a special experience, and I'm glad that these girls have put in work in from day one, but I would argue for years, right, to get to this point. And so it's just awesome that they get to finally kind of just sit back and relax and just kind of enjoy the rewards of the work that they've put into it.
Coach, there's many players we could go down your roster that have had big seasons. Courtney Thomas, Danica Fuller, Morgan Yeater, Briley Bilker, someone who I certainly have as an X factor for Columbus. Who are some players that have really stepped up? You mentioned the conference tournament did not go how you wanted it to, but who were some of those players that stepped up as leaders to get you all through Columbia, through a very tough regional with Lindsey Wilson, Missouri Baptist having phenomenal seasons themselves. Who were some of those names that stepped up leadership wise for you?
Yeah, I was kind of reflecting on that a little bit this weekend of just what is it? Like, what was that turnaround? Who was that turnaround? And I think that's truly what makes our team so special is that I can't pinpoint one, right? You go through our lineup and there's so many different assets that shine at different points. And it's not like one person's just been dominant for our team. Courtney Thomas has probably been one of the most steady ones the entire year. She gets up to bat and she's going to fight. She's not going to go down easy. I think she's got maybe 4 or 5 strikeouts on the year. So she is one that you just offensively you expect to produce. And then to see her come out with opening round, she got the walk-off hit at the end there. That was just so much fun, just kind of see her career being capped off that way as a senior. Avery Toole on the mound, she has just been absolutely incredible. As a freshman, man, you don't know what to expect with a freshman coming in, right? It's a whole new world stepping into college softball. And I said this in the interview after the opening round wins, but she has truly just embodied mental toughness. This fall, you would never know that she's the same pitcher that she is right now. She has just put in so much work. Our pitching coach has been phenomenal, just pouring into her. Physically, she's always had it, but mentally, she's just like, I know I can get to the next level. And she's figured out what that looks like. But on top of that, like she's one of the most humble people you'll meet. She is, I mean, yesterday at practice, we were out there and she did her bullpen. We were hanging out doing hitting stuff the entire time. She is just so loud out there cheering everybody on. She's out in the outfield shagging balls for us. It's just her teammates just love that and they rally around her. So defensively, she's obviously very much a core for us. And yeah, that's been awesome to see. I would also add defensively, Leah May at second base. She I would say, controls some of our infield, outfield dynamics. She's done a great job. It's just been steady over there at second base. She's one she's fun to watch. She's super loose out there. She's always going to be giggling, having a good time. And she makes everyone else do that as well. Make sure that we're all kind of just that loose, happy-go-lucky self. Because that's our team. We're not going to be out there being serious. And I mean, you probably experienced that when you were with them last year. Like they are just a bunch of crazies. And you get to see that in the podcast too, which is one thing I love about that. Yep. It really shows their true self and their character. Because who they are off the field is also who they are on the field. And I love that. It makes our job as coaching them much easier. So yeah, I mean, I could keep going. Danica Fuller at short as a freshman, been incredible for us. Just absolute steady over there. Made some phenomenal plays in the opening round tournament. Morgan keeping us grounded out there in center field and the outfield. I mean, that girl can catch balls from anywhere. You don't even think she's around, and then she just comes in hot. So yeah, just top to bottom, they've just done a phenomenal job. It's been a lot of fun seeing them. We always say pass the bat, and that's truly the mentality. Let me get on base, let somebody else hit me in, and let's just keep going.
Yeah, well, when we get done with the interview, we need to talk about y'all's practice schedule for Tuesday and Wednesday, so I make sure I can be around, so we can have a little collab with that WCC pod. It is one of my favorite pieces. If we had an award for one of my favorite pieces of content throughout the season, for Carly and myself, that would be pretty high up there. It's very entertaining, and they do an amazing job with it. You mentioned Avery Toole in there. She was someone coming in to the opening round with like 17 or 18 wins, a sub 2.5 ERA, 100 plus strikeouts. That's a phenomenal freshman year. But the game that it really took the entire myself, Carly, the entire NAIA softball community by storm. 9 innings, 2 earned runs against that Missouri Baptist lineup was super impressive. In those games against Mobap, against Lindsey Wilson, how much confidence does it give you heading into the World Series, seeing your team beat 2 very much so World Series caliber teams? And how much confidence was instilled in the team itself there in Columbia, Kentucky?
Yeah, like talking to Avery, I talked to her afterwards. I was like, how nervous were you? She's like, well, a little, but like not a lot. I'm like, do you even know who you were just facing? And I think that's what makes her so special is she's just like, it's another game. It's another day. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do my job the best I can for the entirety of my team. And that's just truly the mindset that this team has. I don't think anyone got worked up about who we were playing. It was just, hey, we get to play somebody new. It's not a conference team. Like we get to go out there and just compete. And so that I really think that's what carried us through opening rounds. And I don't see why that mindset has to change as we head into the World Series. I think they're still just going to show up and be like, hey, we get another day to go out there, glorify God on the softball field, and we're going to do it. And so, yeah, it makes my job as a coach so easy. I just get to go out there and support them and cheer them on in the process.
Coach, your stint in between being a player and a coach there in Marion, Indiana, over at Cornerstone, what values did you gain as a coach that helped you year one punch ticket to Columbus with Indiana Wesleyan?
Yeah, that's a great question. Very different experience coming to Cornerstone. It was a program where it didn't have that winning tradition recently in their history. And so it was a lot more of, okay, taking a team and trying to build a culture of winning. And when I came to IWU, it's like stepping into a culture of winning. And so I think the lessons I learned from that is just how you invest into players, because I don't think it changes whether you have a culture of winning or you don't. But I think what it does is it just instills so much confidence in your players, in your athletes. When as a coach, as a coaching staff, you know your players so well. They know your heart behind what you're trying to do. And just huge shout out to my coaching staff, because we have 8 of us on staff, and it's just been incredible the role that each person has taken on to just pour into these young women. Yes, on the softball field and trying to push them to be, the best athletes they can be, but even more so in life. It's amazing how much what we learn on the softball field directly correlates to life lessons. And I'm just so proud and amazed at what they've taken on as far as coaches, and what the product has become because of that. So just super grateful. Grateful for my time at Cornerstone. I truly, such a special place in my heart. I honestly didn't really ever see myself leaving there. And so I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned, the people that poured into me. I had some incredible coworkers, other coaches that just really poured into me as a young coach who truly knew nothing about the world of collegiate athletics at 25 years old. An AD that really took a chance on me, and just really instilled confidence into who I can be as a coach. And as I headed back to my alma mater, it made it a lot easier for that transition to happen and happen well.
Coach, kind of a running joke over the last couple episodes of NAISB. I mean, you see the Sun Conference hat, work with the Sun Conference. Kaiser and Southeastern were 3-3 on the year, and I was like, boy, a game 7 in Columbus sure would be cool. Didn't quite get that, but we could very well, or we very well do have game 5 at least between Marion and Indiana Wesleyan. Y'all are 2-2 on the year. Kind of funny just how seeding works out. The 8-9 matchup, 4 o'clock, day one. Talk about that matchup. I know you know Marion, Coach Scott Fleming very well. It's one of those rivalries where it's like, yo, this is like the most respectful rivalry in the NAI. Could just talk about that program and how much you're looking forward to seeing a great crossroads rivalry on display in Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely. My heart broke a little bit when I saw it come out, because it's like, you want the crossroads to be represented well, and it's like, one of us has to beat the other one. But no, Scott and I, we were talking, cheering each other on the whole time during opening rounds, and it's just, you're right, like it is such a friendly rivalry, for lack of better terms. I don't know how many girls they know each other from each team. I grew up together, played travel ball together. And it's always going to be a fun game. That goes back to when I played as an athlete. Like I always looked forward to playing Marion, because it's going to be competitive. You got to play your best in order to win. And I think that showed all throughout the year this year. So we're excited. It's always going to be a fun game, and we're looking forward to it for sure.
I got one maybe kind of tough but fun question for you to wrap things up. In your 4 years at Indiana Wesleyan, so many phenomenal sports outside of softball. I'm sure you were able to attend some of those games. What's your favorite memory as an Indiana Wesleyan student going to one of those games?
Wow. Yeah. I don't remember which year it was specifically, but our men's basketball program was super good during my time, and still is a phenomenal program. But they always hosted some teams at like the beginning of the year. Cornerstone is actually one of them. I think Spring Arbor was there, but I don't think like I would Spring Arbor played. I don't remember fully, but I just remember the gym sold out. Like no one else could get in. And it was such a close game to the end, but like the cheering, the atmosphere in that gym was just absolutely electric. So yeah, I don't remember the total details of it, but those basketball games, they were super fun. It was just awesome to have such a great culture of athletics here at Indiana Wesleyan, and that continued to this day. It's just awesome to be able to compete, to learn from coaches in this office. I'm just truly blessed to have such great mentors and people like that. So looking forward to continuing to learn.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I lied because as soon as you started talking about basketball, I remembered last year being on campus when the ground was starting to really be broken on I Am Third Arena, the what close to $30 million project being built there in Marion, Indiana. How sick does that thing look, and how excited are you to go to the games there?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, just yesterday, I hadn't rocked to like the front of it recently, and I saw and they even have like the I Am Third Arena words on it, and it looks like an actual, nice facility. And I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal. They've had a couple of the inside tours. I haven't actually been over there to see the inside yet. It's got a lot of work to go yet, but just truly just shows the heartbeat behind this university and how much they truly want to invest in athletics. They believe the importance of it, and having an arena for our basketball players and then a separate one for our volleyball players. I think it just really shows their heart for us as student athletes and coaches and the support we're getting here. So super grateful and super excited to attend games there this winter.
Yeah, Indiana Wesleyan always at the top of the Leaderfield Cup. Coach, not a bad idea. Maybe that the first red banner to go up there. Maybe it has a 26 and a softball on it. How does that sound to you?
Love that. That would be phenomenal.
Manifest it, Coach. Appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you in Columbus.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reagan. I appreciate all you do for NAI and just supporting our athletes.
All right, next up on our World Series coaches interview, we've got on the head coach for the Marion Knights. Heading back to Columbus, Georgia, Coach Scott Fleming. How we doing, my friend?
Doing great, Reagan. How you doing today?
Oh, bless, man. We're just talking about ready to meet in the middle. You're heading south, I'm heading north, and we'll get there about the same time. Super excited. Coach, what a year for your group. You're not newcomer to Columbus, but usually y'all are a 1 or a 2 seed punching y'all stick it into Columbus. This time a 4 seed out of the Hattiesburg opening round. And I know we're going to start with the entire team. We'll talk about who is in the circle a little bit later on for your trip down in Mississippi. But your team going down to Hattiesburg, having to win twice on day one, and win 4 straight games, punch your ticket to Columbus. You talk about just the resiliency of your squad to punch your ticket.
Yeah, just really proud of our group. Going into the season, we lost a really good senior group from last year. Obviously, a really good pitcher from last year, and so we knew we were going to be young and not have a lot of experience. Certainly, a very talented group that we were really excited about, and it just took a while, I guess. We were pretty inconsistent, all year long. We started out pretty strong, and then kind of had a lull, and then and I think what happens too, we're playing a lot of freshmen, and when you play freshmen, a lot of times they hit a wall, and then they bounce back, and it's a long season. College softball's hard. We play everybody in our Crossroads League 4 times, so it's a grind, and they haven't been through it before, so they don't understand. And so man, I was just really proud of our group. I mean, that was just awesome. It was unbelievable. And I thought going down there, they were just kind of loose and confident, and just we had nothing to lose. I mean, nobody picked us, and that's fine. We just our kids just went down there, and man, they competed hard and played really well. And I'm just really proud of them because, like I said, it was up and down, man, this year. And there were times on them, there were times when our coaches, we were hard on them because we were pushing, and we knew a group was capable. We didn't know if it was going to happen this year, but we thought, we thought too, getting to the opening round would be a great experience, for our young kids, and certainly our seniors, giving them one last opportunity to go out. And because, man, I'll tell you about probably about 2 or 3 weeks left in the conference season. We were looking at being the play-in game, and we went 3 out of 4, won 3 out of 4 the last weekend over St. Francis and Wesleyan, to kind of secure that 3rd spot. So yeah, again, just really proud. I mean, I thought we came together, more, and just really excited for them and really proud of them.
Coach Bree Smith, after a great career playing for you, she's done a tremendous job as your assistant coach, pitching coach. I think she's done a really, really good job. I just want to give her flowers because of what Macy Cohen was able to do in Hattiesburg. I can see you just kind of reminiscing on it right there in your face a little bit. Can you talk about Coach Smith, Macy Cohen? Because if we were giving away MVPs of the entire opening round, Carly and I both agreed Carly Murray, British Columbia, heck of a job what she did in Oklahoma City, but Macy Cohen would certainly be in that conversation. Talk about Coach Smith, Macy, and what they were able to accomplish, only allowing one run, and the defense too, only allowing one run in Hattiesburg.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm very fortunate because I have three other coaches that coach with me that are all outstanding. Brina Smith and Hannah Williams and Laney Puckett. They all three played for us. They were all really, really good players. They were kind of the group that started us, going to the World Series, in 2016, and so they, they're just awesome. They're have a lot of softball knowledge. They're passionate about, our program and Marion University. All three of them work other jobs, and they are constantly rearranging everything around their schedule to be here. And so I'm just very fortunate, very appreciative. And they all do. I mean, Brina handles our pitchers. Hannah was an infielder, so she handles, the infield. Laney was an outfielder. She was handles the outfield. We kind of all, I kind of oversee everything, but then we all are involved in the hitting. And I would have no problem turning things over to any one of them, at any point. And so, with Macy and Brina, they have a really good relationship. Brina pushes all of our pitchers, and we just thought, Macy's been the number two. She's been the number two spot the last couple of years behind Stunkel, and we always thought she was very, very capable, and she's actually had a really, really good year this year. I will just say about 3 weeks ago, though, she just raised herself to another level, and just really cool to see. I mean, she's an awesome kid, outstanding student, and a great teammate. And we've always kind of had pitchers kind of at that point just kind of raise their play. I mean, and Brina was one of them. I mean, there were several times, man, she went back to back in games. There was we had Shelby Heron, another one that was a good one. I think you remember Sydney Wilson when we went in 23. I mean, we were in elimination games at our place, and she pitches 3 games in a row for us to go, to the World Series. And then of course, Olivia Stunkel, was same way. So we just have always been fortunate that some of these kids have just kind of raised their play, at the right time. And so again, it's just she works hard. She's trying to get better, all the time. And what she did down there in Hattiesburg was unbelievable. And the other part with her was she wanted the ball. I mean, it was after we won the first game, we go to her, she's like, "Oh, no, I'm going," and then so there was just never a doubt. I mean, we had, the others always ready. And then defensively, we were really good. I mean, we didn't make an error in 4 games. And that's something that we work really, really hard at. We take a lot of pride, in our defense. And we just had some kids, man, they made some outstanding plays, and then we were fortunate. We were fortunate to get the timely hit, when we needed it, and put across, not many runs. I'd like to score a few more runs. That might alleviate the blood pressure a little bit or something. But again, it was just really, really cool to see.
This has kind of been a stressful year opening round for you. You think this year's aged you more than the average season?
Oh, dude, man, I tell them all the time. There went 5 years right there. There went 5 years. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's. I probably I keep my hair short now, so to try to keep from all the gray showing. But again we have great kids. I mean they work hard. Again, I think like I said earlier, the biggest thing is they haven't been through college softball. They haven't been through our league, and so they didn't understand, they've grown a lot and learned a lot, and just again, I'm very appreciative of all their hard work and effort, and just very very proud of them.
Coach, you told me back in early March before conference play started, the Crossroads had a chance to be one of the elite conferences in NAIA softball this year. You referred to a little bit of lull you had there in late March, early April. Y'all went 8-10 over that stretch. That was all Crossroads League's games, and at the time, Carly and I were both thinking, okay, maybe Marion's just a little bit down this year. Looking back at it, it looks like the Crossroads was just really up and extremely underrated from myself, Carly, especially, but from coaches and people across the country. This was a really good softball league this year, and it's very evident. You look at St. Francis; they had a strong showing in the postseason. You guys, Indiana Wesleyan, obviously still playing softball. Could you just talk about the Crossroads League? Do you feel like it really took a step up this year?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, again, when I saw you in Florida at Space Coast, I told you, I said, man, I think our lead's going to be really, really good. And like I said, I just think 1 through 7. I mean, it was in our league, you have to be ready to play every time out, and I mean that's hard to do. I mean, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to do that, but it's also hard to be good on a daily basis, and so if you're not ready, I mean you're always in for a battle. And we have a very good hitting league, I think, and it always seems like um, all the teams have a really good one, you know. Um, for example, Spring Arbor, I mean, they had the pitcher of the year on their team this year, and they finished fifth in our league. And I mean, they were good. They beat us, the last day in the conference tournament. And I'm telling you, she's legit. She's really good. And so I mean, like I said, it's very strong, I think. Again, just it's as a competitor, you like that, I mean, you're competing every time, and you got to be ready every time, and you got to play well, or somebody's going to beat you.
We just talked with head coach of Indiana Wesleyan, Kelsey Koistra. Obviously, great first year for her and her program, and it just one of those things where the seeding matches up. We get a couple of all conference matchups to wrap up day one, 4 o'clock game. Marion, Indiana Wesleyan. I talked with her. It's like that's one of the most respectful and nice, if you will, rivalries across the NAI. How excited are you, or maybe not excited, but just for the representation of the Crossroads to have that all Crossroads League matchup day one in Columbus, Georgia? Just what does it mean for that matchup to be on the national stage?
Well, again, it's really cool. I know there's one Crossroads team that's going to move on. It's going to get a win, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, we played each other 4 times. We're 2-2, so we're both familiar with each other, and certainly a lot of respect for Indiana Wesleyan and their team and her. I mean, she's awesome. She played there, so I knew her as a player, but kind of gotten to know her a little bit better when she was at Cornerstone, and then when she got to Wesleyan. It's been good, and they're really good. I mean, man, they've got pitching. I mean, the freshman pitcher's really good. Their other one's really good. They've got power. They've got speed. I mean, they've got experience. And so I've just been really impressed with them. And again, I'm excited. Our kids are excited to compete against them. Again, we're familiar with each other, so I mean, heck, we probably should just play here, and then in Indiana and then drive down, later. But I was a little surprised that we were playing each other right out of the gate. But you know, that's that's great. And like I said, I just think it's really, again, it's really good for our league. I mean, there's been, a couple other times. I think in 2017 and 2018 we were both there when it was in Claremont, Florida. So but again, I think, yeah, it goes back to, it speaks how good our league is.
Well, Coach, you're becoming somewhat of a regular to Columbus, Georgia. Three of the last four World Series have featured the Marion Knights. You got a specific spot or a little underrated spot for some folks that may be coming in for the first time, or a restaurant? Some know you spend a lot of time just over at South Commons Complex. But is there a restaurant or something you're excited to get back to in Columbus?
Yeah, probably not a favorite. I will tell you one thing I do love doing is, we've stayed at the Marriott, since we've been coming down there, and I love getting up early and walking down along the river. I mean, that's cool. It's beautiful. It's cool. And then, the big thing, I mean, we hit the ice cream plate. We hit Kilwins quite a bit, because they're always on me about making it down there. So we visit that one pretty frequently.
Love it. Coach, appreciate you for your time. Safe travels down to Columbus and look forward to see y'all compete for the Red Banner.
All right, sounds good. Look forward to seeing you, Reagan. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Next, we're going to wrap up with the head coach of British Columbia, Coach Jen McKellar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up our World Series interview episode with the head coach of British Columbia, Jen McKellar, and we have Kennedy Laird on. We were just talking about it before. What an unreal postseason for y'all, Coach. Let's start kind of at the beginning. After the conference tournament ends, it's like, okay, was that enough? Did we do enough? Kind of a few games above 500. What was it like for your coaching staff and for the players, just waiting to see if your logo was going to pop up on the screen?
Yeah, it's obviously challenging and nerve-wracking, but we really just believed we had enough on our resume to be considered. And we're just going to be grateful. We talked about if we got a second chance, we were going to capitalize. And when we got the news that we were going, it just was so many emotions, but just grateful and excited. And yeah, so that was those couple of days in between conference tournament and when we found out we're hard.
Kennedy, for you as a player, was it just pure pins and needles? I think you just talk about the emotions when you did see that awesome Thunderbird logo pop up on the screen.
Yeah, I think for me, I really went in with the mindset that like we are going. I wanted to have that in my head so that it was kind of a bit of an easier transition. But definitely still nervous and anxious to see what was going to happen. And then, yeah, when we found out, like we all just went crazy. It was super awesome.
Well, Coach, going and talking about your opening round, you go to one of the meccas. Obviously, what Coach Bobby Bridges, Phil McSpadden have built there in Oklahoma City. You match up also with the Grandview squad that was in the World Series a year ago. Talk about how y'all were able to navigate that and just some really timely hitting. We'll talk about Carlene and the pitching performance later, but man, y'all's bats just really found the right time of the year to get hot. Talk about y'all's ability to just string together some good games, win the 4-5, win over Oklahoma City, and just be able to punch your ticket into Columbus.
Yeah, I think we've had a good process all year, but in our conference, it's so easy to get caught up in who you're playing weekend over weekend. And I think knowing that we did get a second chance and we saw our name in the opening round when we got to Oklahoma City, it was just about staying true to us and our process and being a station to station team. And one of the really special things about this team in general, I think it shows up in our offense is that they do it for the person behind them and the person in front of them. So it's a lot easier to string hits together when you're rooting for the teammates in front and behind. And I think that just really showed. We'd seen a little bit of that in Texas and throughout the season. So I think we just got super confident in something we'd been practicing and value in our offense, and we're able to then showcase that. And seeing lots of different contributors is very much the identity of our offense.
To be an underdog, go on the road, beat the teams that you beat to punch your ticket. Kennedy, you have to have a good sisterhood and be close with your team. Can you talk a little bit about the culture of Thunderbird softball?
Yeah, I mean, this team, like, we're all super close. We're all like best friends. I would consider a lot of the girls on my team like my favorite people in the world. We are really a family, and I think that's what kind of drove us to want it so bad. And I mean, we play for our coaches, like they create a really good positive culture for us too. So yeah, we're just like a big happy family. It's super awesome.
I love it. Coach, when people bring up British Columbia, Carlene Murray is a name that comes up very quickly in conversations often. Can you talk about having her on your team, in your pitching staff, and just the force that she is, and just the ability that when she's in the circle, it's like, we can win this ball game, whoever is in the other dugout.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever Carr's on the mound, she gives us a chance to win. She is a competitor through and through. She works super hard at practice, and that inspires not only our team, but our younger pitchers. She sets a great example for them. And then she just loves to be out there with her teammates and her friends. Kennedy's caught for Carlene almost most of her life at home and share a similar relationship with our first baseman. They grew up playing together. So when she's out there as stoic as she is, she's just out there having fun. She wants to compete. She just always gives us a chance. And when you can have a pitcher like that in your program, it really helps elevate a lot of other aspects and showcases a lot of our talents just because she keeps us in every game that she throws.
Kennedy, like Coach just mentioned there, you've called for Carlene. I assume past college or before college. Yes, gotcha. And playing with her, playing alongside your first baseman, like I said, Jessica Hutink, who had she had the walk off, correct? I thought
She
so.
did.
Yep, she had the walk off. To have that moment with girls you've played with, and now being able to cap it off in the NAIA's biggest stage, Columbus, Georgia. Just what does that mean to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it means so much to me. Like we're all seniors, so this is our last year here, and being able to play together with Car, especially like our bond is so good when we're pitching and catching together, and we're always on the same page. Just because, like we said, like we've been together, been a little duo for a really long time. And then yeah, just seeing Jess get that walk off, like she so deserved that, and I was so happy for her. Like in the video you see, we just like run out and hug each other. Like it was awesome.
That was one of the few opening round games I was able to watch live when I was in Lakeland, and I just remember sitting on my couch watching it. And I'm just full on. I'm like, they just did it. They're going to Columbus. Oh my God! Oh my gosh, Coach, did it take you a minute, a day? Or are you still trying to believe like we're going to the World Series?
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, you've been bought in on this goal and you've known it was possible and you can believe it, but then to actually have that moment and then to just so quickly have the moment and celebrate and realize like you're not done. So park some of the celebration because we are hungry for more, but it was again just so rewarding to watch this wonderful group of athletes talk about a goal for 9, 10 months, come together, have adversity, be an underdog, and then just do it for each other. Again, I think it's going to be one of the highlights of my coaching career, let alone in this moment. It's just been so special.
Well, Coach, there's no doubt you're a battle-tested group. I believe this is the sixth or seventh, maybe straight World Series, obviously excluding 2020, of having multiple teams from the Cascade represented. This year, three teams: yourself, College of Idaho, who you get to start off with, and Southern Oregon, and the program powerhouse that Coach Jessica Pistol has built there. I got the great opportunity, 2024, to go to the Cascade Conference tournament. And to me, that other outside of Columbus, that's still one of the best displays of softball I've had the privilege of being able to watch. It is not only on the field, but I mean, you look over and it's like 400, 500, 600 people in the stands. I'm like, oh, this is kind of the SEC football of NAI softball. Talk about the Cascade, how it's prepared you for the postseason and for competing in Columbus.
Yeah, I say the Cascade every weekend is the gauntlet. You're going through it. What's great is there's usually 4 or 5 teams that get talked about each year, but there is 6, 7, 8, 9 more teams that like they are just as strong. They take games the second you give them an opportunity. So our conference is extremely well coached from the SOUs and the OITs, EOU, College of Idaho, extremely well coached. They perform on this stage year over year. But also the other schools in our conference are well coached. And again, like I said, you have to be on your game. You have to have a game plan every single game. We play 4 games back to back to back each weekend. And so yeah, battle tested. Lots of respect for our conference and their coaches and their athletes. I think it is one of the best conferences, if not the best in NAI, and we're just grateful that we get to be a part of it and get to showcase on the bigger stage here this season.
Hey, everybody knows I'm a Sun Conference guy. Work for the Sun Conference. There's only one Cascade, though. I mean, I have this debate. I feel like probably once a week for the last 3 years. At some point I have this debate with the coach, and I just say, look, I mean, until they stop getting multiple teams into Columbus, I think it is what it is. Kennedy, you've played against these teams over the course of your college career. What's it like as a player being in the gauntlet of Cascade softball?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like Coach Jen said, like you can't really take a game off or even a pitch off. They're all so well coached. Like the pitching that we see is really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it prepares us well, and I think we felt prepared going into opening round because we faced such strong competition throughout the season. So that's good. But yeah, just a lot of respect for the teams that we face.
I love it. And of course, Coach starting it off, Yotes. I mean, so exciting. That I believe that's the 4 o'clock or the 7 o'clock, one of the later games of the day. It's 7 o'clock, right? Did I have
7
that
o'clock.
correct?
Yeah.
Love it. Under the lights, Thunderbirds and the Yotes. Talk about Coach Al Mendiola. I mean, the relationship y'all have, and just how excited you are to be able to represent the Cascade together Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, it's ironic in a lot of ways that we open up together as they drove up to cheer us on
Yes, that
at
was that
Oklahoma
was
City,
awesome. That was
which was,
so awesome.
yeah. And I think that example describes the Cascade. Like when we face each other, it's a battle, but off the field, we're all supporting each other. That's how I've felt since joining or becoming the head coach at UBC. They've been excited for us to grow, and Al has kind of led that force. I know he always roots for us and wants us to succeed. So as much as it'll be tough Thursday night to take off that hat for 7 innings, just so much respect for Al and his program and that showing of sportsmanship and kind of united conference stance. Because I know that extra energy supported our girls just to see a full stands cheering for us because we're so used to playing on the road. I think we had like 8 family members there and then their whole roster to join in. And so I think it was a really special moment to share. And we'll be ready to face off Thursday night. But again, just so much respect for their program.
One last question, just stepping off of the softball field, Kennedy, British Columbia, it's an institution that I don't think a lot of people know a lot about. And then you start looking into it, I'm like, oh, this is a phenomenal university to be a student at. Could you talk about just your time as a student at UBC?
Yeah. I mean, the education at UBC is incredible. I think, yeah, one of the top universities in Canada. And yeah, I mean, it's really cool to go to a school where it's really big. I actually transferred from a school in New York in my first year, and that was a really small school. So it was a big adjustment coming to UBC. But again, like the education is incredible, and the community, like the varsity community that we have at UBC is something that I think is really unique and really special. Everybody's supporting each other, and yeah, it's just been a really good experience for me.
I love it. Well, Coach Jen McKellar and Kennedy Laird, British Columbia Thunderbirds. I know you're already in Georgia, so I don't know how much extra merch you got, but I'd rock a Thunderbird shirt. That's all. That's all I'm saying. If you got a little something laying around, I can fit a medium, I can fit a large, I can be flexible with you. Like I said, it's a great logo. But Coach Kennedy, thank you for your time. Best of luck this week. Looking forward to seeing you in the Peach State.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that'll wrap up our interviews for it. Hey, it is World Series Eve, ladies and gentlemen. You catch all the games on Urban Edge Network. Thank you for tuning in, and best of luck to all 10 teams that will be represented at the 2026 NAIA Softball World Series.